And now she's trying to take some of that experience in business and use it to help Spelman.
One of the things I've committed to this Board of Trustees at Spelman College is that I will try to bring as much business to this institution as I possibly can. And that would be through a new financial or business model. You know, we live off of very few sources of revenue. But if we looked at our institutions through the lens of what we could monetize, things like our online learning programs, that right now through the number of, high school students that need certifications, could we provide those?
Spelman was recently one of several schools that billionaire Arthur Blank donated to. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage, no medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
He steps to the mic with a boom, ping, ping. Wisdom sharper than a beast's fierce sting. Words like fireflies that light the night. He turns the dark into blazing bright. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, oh, the airwaves king. Shake the ground, unveils the truth where lies abound. Politics, justice, social streams. He molds the chaos into dreams. No silence here, just the sound of change. Boom, ping, ping, rearrange. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, or the airwaves king. Through the static, through the noise, he amplifies the people's voice. Boom, ping, ping. Like a heartbeat's call, he's got the wisdom to break down walls. Yeah.
Welcome to the program. Today is Thursday, January 8th, 2026. I want to share with you the guidance that immigration and customs enforcement officers operate under. And this guidance is specifically from the Department of Homeland Security. I'm going to give you said guidance verbatim. And then I suppose we can have a discussion about it if one is warranted or necessary. But first, ICE agents typically, prior to this current administration, oftentimes work by themselves for many, many hours in total and complete isolation, driving vehicles, usually pickup trucks, up and down border areas and known border crossings. There are days in which those immigration and customs enforcement agents encounter people. Sometimes they encounter individual men, individual women, families, groups, etc. But then there are vast amounts of time, sometimes weeks, where depending upon where they are stationed near the American-Mexico border, they don't see anyone. They work in isolation. This is very, very important information for people to understand because it's simple and doesn't require a lot of thinking on our part when we just consider law enforcement in one general bucket, in one basket, and we think that law enforcement executions of arrests and of warrants and apprehensions and detaining people, we think it's all the same. It is not. Immigration and customs enforcement agents are not trained. They are not taken through scenarios of what it is like to be in densely populated urban areas where you will be dealing with people and dealing with protests. That is not what they do. They work in isolation in rural areas, and sometimes they don't see anybody. So when you train someone for that kind of work and you put them in a city and people have cameras in their faces, and they are not used to apprehensions and these kinds of urban detentions and all of the distractions that may be involved with it, you begin to see the lack of training. And to the best of my knowledge and or understanding, there has not been additional guidance nor training to prepare these ICE agents who have been deployed all over the United States for a different kind of law force or law enforcement execution. They are still the guys who were trained to patrol the border in mostly rural areas where they don't see any people at all. And so when you bring those folks into a very high-stress environment where their directives are simple and not quite detailed, their lack of training comes into full view. I can give you an example of if somebody is operating a motor vehicle and they're not properly trained on how to operate a motor vehicle, you know that can be a disaster, correct? If someone is told to operate a piece of machinery, heavy machinery, dangerous machinery, and they are not properly trained on how to handle and work and how to operate that dangerous piece of machinery, many, many things can go wrong. When you give someone the power and the ability to use deadly force, and they are not properly trained, especially in an urban area where the distractions are, let's just say, multifaceted compared to working in the damn Arizona desert, that lack of training sometimes can rear its ugly head, and this is precisely what we saw happen yesterday. So while I was on the air yesterday, because it happened roughly at 10:25 a.m. yesterday, there was an incident that took place on a South Side neighborhood in Minneapolis. The irony of this is just, it's too rich because it was less than a mile from where George Floyd was murdered. Boy, Minneapolis been through it, ain't they? We're going to show you the video in a little while. You've already seen it, but I just want to make sure that people have a thorough understanding of what the protocol actually is. In the video, you see an ICE agent trying to open the door of the woman who was killed. You can't do that unless you had reasonable suspicion or a warrant that she was harboring someone illegal in that vehicle, and she was not, because no such warrant existed. So the fact that he even tried to open her door, now that's even bordering on illegal. And then there's this other thing, and I don't know if it's been a part of conversations that other news outlets and other media outlets have been having. See, it's this thing that pigs do. Not law enforcement officers, not cops, not sheriffs, not state troopers. No. Pigs. It's called officer-created jeopardy. It's when there is a car that is fleeing in which there is zero guidance that you can use deadly force to stop someone from fleeing. If you do, it is illegal. Not only is it illegal, it is unconstitutional. There are a number of Supreme Court decisions that say if someone is fleeing, trying to get away, you can't kill them to stop them from getting away. You can't. It's illegal and unconstitutional. Okay? Can't do that. And it's been proven time and time again. Even this U.S. Supreme Court would say, nope, can't do that. Can't shoot somebody for wanting to flee. Officer-created jeopardy is, this vehicle is moving. If someone or something is in front of this vehicle, someone or something, could get hurt, harmed, or damaged. As an officer of the law, I am not going to get in front of a moving vehicle. And in the video, you clearly see that this pig runs in front of the damn vehicle and creates a situation called officer-created jeopardy. The cop put himself in the position to where now he is under threat, but it was through his own actions, and he executed a woman, a mother of 3. We're going to roll the video, but I want you to pay very close attention to the fact that she tries to wave the officers past her. And then she reverses to try and get away from them. And that's when you see one of the officers reach for the door handle, which he had no right, no authority to do. Rhea, ready to play that video when you are on the YouTubes. So there's her vehicle right there. It's a black SUV. It's to the right of the frame. Right there. Okay?
No!
Well, she's trying to back up. Trying to get away.
Oh my God!
And they kill her.
What the f***? You just
That is a murder.
What did you do?
There is no other way to describe that. You can call it anything you want. So you can even put it in some kind of disgusting political context and say, well, she shouldn't have been there being an agitator. This woman was on her street where her house is, trying to get out of the way. And an ICE and customs enforcement agent tried to open her door, which need y'all to understand. He doesn't get to do that. You can't do that. She was not a suspect. In fact, they can't even detain people. ICE doesn't have access to local jails. She was an American citizen. I'm going to take a break, going to come back. There have been 14 such shootings in similar fashion where ICE agents have drawn their weapons, harmed and killed other people. Make zero mistake about it. I know people are going to call it other things and you're going to try and minimize it as best you can. The United States of America is a fascist regime in which American citizens are being killed by their own government, in their own private vehicles, on their own streets, in neighborhoods in which Americans and American citizens live. That is a fascist government. In fact, if another nation was doing what the United States is doing to its own citizens, we as the United States would stop that other government from doing what the United States is currently doing to its own citizens. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com. Breaking down the issues that shape our city and our future.
Another function of white supremacy, don't teach black people stuff, because if you give us a little bit of knowledge, we'll invent something totally new. That's why it was illegal to teach slaves to read, because if we could read, then we could write. And if we could write, we could communicate. And if we could communicate, we could plan. And if we could plan, we could strategize. And if we can plan and write and read and communicate and strategize, we could overthrow white supremacy, because they've always known how fragile it is.
It's The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, weekdays from 9 to noon.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Deadly force may only be used when there is an imminent threat of death or serious bodily harm. Federal policy, including Department of Homeland Security, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, use of force standards, and the Code of Federal Regulations says, deadly force, quote, any force likely to cause death or serious injury is authorized only when an officer reasonably believes there's an imminent risk of death or serious physical harm to themselves and others. What this officer did is he created a situation where he could be harmed. It was his own decision and his own negligence as to why he used deadly force. So somebody asked in the YouTube chat, let me make sure I get it right here. What happens when anyone flees the authorities? I don't know. Sometimes they give chase. Sometimes they say, oh, we have a description of the person and the vehicle and the license plates, and if we need to detain them later, we know who they are. This woman was in front of her house. But here's the thing. She wasn't a suspect. So the only authorization or authority that ICE would have to detain an American citizen is if they had credible information and or a warrant, an arrest warrant, that that woman was harboring an illegal immigrant who they were looking for. But she wasn't. So they had no reason to stop her and no reason to detain her. ICE can't just stop American citizens. Like, y'all need to understand that what is happening right now is not legal and it's not constitutional and it's fundamentally un-American. It is fascism. Somebody just can't stop you. You need probable cause. You need a reasonable suspicion. You need a warrant. Because they say stop and they're trying to open your door does not mean that they legally have the right to do so. Now, here's what the problem is. The Trump administration has already propagandized this scenario saying this woman was a domestic terrorist, you know, this lesbian mother of three, and that she was a paid agitator. They even put out a statement. This is how stupid they think y'all are. And stupid is the word. If you're a Donald Trump supporter, he thinks you're stupid. And I join him in that. The officer was run over. He's lucky to be alive. I'm not kidding you. This is what Donald Trump or Kristi Noem said. That officer jumped in front of that vehicle, shot once through the windshield, jumps around the vehicle, shoots 2 times through the passenger window, and they literally said, Kristi Noem, The head of the Department of Homeland Security, and then echoed by President Donald Trump, said the officer was run over and he's lucky to be alive. His ass hopped in an SUV and they escorted him out of there immediately because they know had he stayed, that group of people would have turned into a mob and they would have tarred and feathered him right there on that street. They showed the inside of the SUV. You don't want to see that. So they shot her. This cop shot her, killed her instantly. Then the vehicle just continues to go, hits another vehicle. Then the airbags are deployed. At that moment, a physician comes up and says, hey, I'm a physician. I'd like to help her. I'd like to administer first aid. The Department of Homeland Security agents said, no, we have our own medics. It was then communicated to me that for 15 minutes, no one came to administer aid. Now, she was dead already, unfortunately. Her brains are on the airbag. You can clearly see it. Your government just murdered somebody. We can make a whole bunch of excuses about, well, she shouldn't have been doing that. She shouldn't have blah, 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 blah. If they did it to her, they can do it to anybody. Because who's going to stop them? Donald Trump is about to take Greenland. Who's going to stop him? Donald Trump just kidnapped the president of a foreign country and is trying to charge him on weapons charges here in the United States. And I ask you the same question. Who is going to stop him? And can we please cease with, oh, people voted for this. Nobody voted for this. It didn't matter what you voted for. Trump is going to do whatever he wanted to do because nobody can stop him. And no one can stop his agents. One of the saving graces is there's a Minnesota State Investigative Unit that is looking at the scenario of what happened yesterday in South Minneapolis. But then the FBI is also doing their own investigation. And you guys know that federal investigations oftentimes take precedent. And in the event there is some wrongdoing found on part of the ICE officer who fired those 3 fatal shots, which there is, Trump is going to pardon him. And what are we going to do about it? Probably complain about the lackluster Democrats running in the midterm elections in 2026. Like, that's literally what we're going to do. Well, these candidates running as Democrats aren't liberal enough. That's what our response is going to be. And so then I would argue, yeah, maybe we did vote for this. From Minneapolis, the woman killed during an Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE operation in Minneapolis on Wednesday has been identified by officials as Renee Nicole Good, age 37, as lawmakers argue over who is to blame for the deadly shooting. Minneapolis City Council confirmed Good's identity in a joint statement, calling her a member of our community and demanding that ICE immediately leave the city so that they can get rid of the chaos and violence that ended the life of one of our neighbors. This morning, an ICE agent shot and killed Renee Nicole Good, a member of our community, the statement read. Anyone who kills someone in our city deserves to be arrested, investigated, and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. On her Instagram account, she described herself as a poet and writer, a wife and mom, and was from Colorado, but currently experiencing Minneapolis. Reports from the Associated Press show she was a U.S. citizen and appeared to have never been charged with anything involving law enforcement beyond a traffic ticket. Her ex-husband told the outlet anonymously that Good had just dropped off her 6-year-old son at school and was driving home with her current partner when they encountered a group of ICE agents. They were coming home. A video of the incident appeared to show Good driving away during a raid before being shot by an ICE officer, and the Department of Homeland Security argues she tried to use her vehicle as a weapon while agents were trying to make arrests, prompting them to fire in self-defense. Now, just a little while ago, I told you about this situation where a vehicle that is moving is, of course, it is a weapon. But if an officer jumps in front of a moving vehicle, which any municipally trained cop or sheriff or sheriff's deputy, They know. It don't matter who is in the vehicle. You don't jump in front of a car unless you are trying to make an officer-created jeopardy situation where you can then use deadly force. And if you watch the video, and I'm not encouraging you to watch a murder more times than you need to, when he fires the first shot, he almost hits another officer that's on the driver's side of the vehicle. So he recklessly endangered not just the bystanders, not just them as well, but even his fellow ICE officer had to jump out of the way because this man is shooting through the damn windshield. That is officer-created jeopardy. Let me give you that definition in case you guys are only reading Trump propaganda. Stepping in front of a moving car and then shooting because the car's a threat. I'm literally reading the definition of officer-created jeopardy. Stepping directly in front of a moving car and then shooting because the car is a threat. Or rushing a person who is contained or could be safely monitored. Or using aggressive tactics when time, distance, or cover were available. Or blocking a vehicle's exit, causing panic, then claiming deadly force was necessary. So what I just read to you are the textbook definitions understood by every federal agency and local agency in a scenario called officer-created jeopardy. If you do any of those things and you use deadly force, you are negligent. You committed a crime and you should be prosecuted. We'll take a break, come back. Talk more about the scenario that is happening in Minneapolis. Only 1 mile, less than a mile actually, from where George Floyd was killed. Renee Nicole Good was murdered by an ICE agent yesterday. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com. He's the voice for the people and the community's connection to change.
It is what it is. It's taxpayers' dollars. It's like monopoly money. It's like, you know what? We can just pay our bills with this money. You know what? The homeless, they already out there. They already in the tent. I walked past the other day. They were out there having fun and singing and stuff like that. I mean, this is what I'm saying. This is the attitude. Like, you know what? We're going to just take this money, right? We'll think about this in 2 months. We'll reconvene after we pay off our bills, and see what we got left.
Yeah, Christmas coming up.
Yeah, we got Christmas coming up. Yeah, basically, yeah. And it's just like this nonchalant attitude with the taxpayers' dollars. You know what? Look at MPS. Look how much money we threw at MPS right here in the city of Milwaukee. We throwing money at these places. Like, it ain't like they don't have the funding.
The Tory Lowe Show, weekdays from 1 to 4 p.m. Live on YouTube and right here on 101.7 The Truth.
Hey there, Jane Lynch here. You want to hear something funny? Too bad. You want to hear something uplifting that will inspire you? Good. Because today, I want to talk to you about Direct Relief, a humanitarian organization that does seriously good work when it counts. Fires, hurricanes, earthquakes. When disaster strikes, Direct Relief immediately shows up with medicines, medical supplies, and everything doctors and nurses need to save lives. Let's ship her out! Every day across the United States and around the world, they're making an enormous difference. If someone needs help, Direct Relief helps. No politics, no red tape. Hey, what you doing over there?
Oh, I'm packing insulin for kids with diabetes.
See, every box here is literally a lifeline for someone in critical need. So check them out at directrelief.org and donate if you can. You might just bring a smile to someone's face.
People don't realize that glaucoma is one of the leading causes of blindness.
Because there are often no early symptoms, nearly half of those with glaucoma may not even know they have it until vision loss has occurred.
I was diagnosed with normal tension glaucoma in July of 2020. And what we found out at that point was I had already lost 40% of my sight. You think it only affects people that are, 75 or older, retired, grandparents, and that's not the reality of it.
I didn't think at all glaucoma was going to affect me because I didn't know of anyone that had glaucoma, no one in my family. When you have glaucoma, you can't get back that sight that you lost. And so early detection and treatment is vitally, vitally important.
Don't miss life's most beautiful moments. Schedule an eye exam today.
National Glaucoma Research, a Bright Focus Foundation program, offers free resources and tips for healthy vision.
Learn how to protect your sight at stopglaucoma.org.
It's The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Saved from ourselves. Observers have tracked hundreds of ICE vehicles in the last few days in Minneapolis, with the volume of phone calls increasing tremendously from people seeing ICE activity, needing help after a person was picked up, or seeking food or other assistance because they are worried about leaving their homes. Every aspect of our lives are being dissected and targeted. Who said this? Torres de Santiago. He's the one that started documenting what he was seeing on the streets of Minneapolis, how many agents, how many cars they drove. He called in other observers to come to the scene and assist. He threw on a bright yellow vest and talked to dozens of people and made phone calls to report what he was learning. Quote, every aspect of our lives is being dissected in target, Torres said. So whether you're picking up groceries, picking up your kid, or going to the doctor right now, every place feels like a place that is not safe. And just to rewind for a moment, because I remember some of the 2024 rhetoric, and I remember how even some of you were like, yeah, we got to get these people out of our country. These are criminals. They're terrible people. They're bringing in all the drugs. Ooh, boo. They're picking up mamas. They're going to the drop-off line where parents is dropping their kids off. Kids who are American citizens getting dropped off at school, and then their parents are being disappeared by agents of the U.S. government. Has that made you feel any safer? I'm not sure how many people they've detained or deported, and we'll never know because they're under no obligation to tell us. Has that increased your possibilities for getting a job? For those of you that were looking for work because you were out of work because all these immigrants were taking your jobs. So now that you have some people that are afraid to leave the house, some people that are simply not going back to work, and then however many people were detained, do you just have job offers just falling out the sky? Do some of y'all have multiple jobs? You have more jobs than you can handle? Is the economy just exploding? Is it? Do you feel safer? Because, before this, I got murdered 37 times personally by an immigrant. I kept getting murdered. I was like, oh, when will all of this immigrant murder stop? I'm just trying to get to the radio station every day. Oh, here we go. Here comes another Mexican murdering me. Darn it, when will it stop? Please, Daddy Trump, help me. Do any of you feel safer? Is the world now a better place because of a 37-year-old white woman, mother of 3, is dead? Is that? I know people are dismissing it and they're making up all sorts of excuses. That denial is not going to get us very far. This is the nation that we are living in. I'm not going to say, oh, it's what people voted for. Ain't nobody vote for this. But it didn't matter what you voted for because this is what he is going to do. Now, had we read Project 2025, we still wouldn't have believed it. I mean, I read a little bit of it. It was boring. I read like 20 pages of it. I was like, well, where's the action in this 900-page document? But they did spell it all out. A lot of us figured that Congress would, say something like, hey, Mr. President, you can't dispatch immigration and customs enforcement agents to cities when they are trained to patrol open expanses of rural border by themselves. Like, you need to maybe do something a little different, maybe consider a different tactic. They're not trained for this. They're not used to having people blowing whistles and having cameras in their faces. Some of the video that I saw yesterday is there are people who, and rightfully so, a woman was just murdered. So like somebody's neighbor was just shot in the head. Her body is still there. And so you have people that are obviously yelling, at the ICE agents. And you see this one ICE agent just grab a guy by his collar and just pepper spray him in his face. The man was no threat. Did you see the one where it's two people and they have an umbrella, and the umbrella is open because they're trying to block the tear gas that the ICE agents are spraying? The ICE agent grabs the umbrella, pushes it down so the individuals behind it couldn't shield themselves from the tear gas, and shoots the tear gas behind the umbrella. Ladies and gentlemen, if that's not excessive force, I don't know what is. Donald Trump has emboldened these agents, and I don't know what their guidance is. I don't know what they are told in their debriefings, but it's probably something similar to go out and do whatever the hell you want. If you get in trouble, if you hurt somebody, if you harm somebody, if you use excessive force, if you kill somebody, the president will pardon you. Now just know this, even with whatever promise that may be, these individuals are still going to be held accountable. I assure you of that, each and every one of them. Right now, they are getting away with it. They will not get away with it forever. All of it is being documented. All of their pictures, all of whatever information is on their uniforms, if there's any identifying information, all of that is being spread all over social media. The Trump administration first added hundreds more federal immigration officers into Minnesota in early December as the president became fixated on Somali residents who he called garbage. Right-wing media focused attention on high-profile social services fraud cases that involve some Somalis. After a video of a right-wing influencer going to area daycares under the guise of finding fraud went viral, the administration said it would send in 2,000 additional agents. Trump and his allies have attacked Minnesota Governor Tim Walz over the fraud cases and spread many conspiracy theories about the murder of a state lawmaker and her husband. Walz ended his bid for re-election on Monday. So, the governor of Minnesota said he ain't running for re-election because they're going to try and tie him to these cases of child care fraud in Minnesota. So he just opted not to run for re-election. And I don't blame him. I do not blame him. On her Instagram account, she described herself as a poet and a writer and wife and mom, and was from Colorado but experiencing Minneapolis. I bet she wished she never experienced Minneapolis. It used to be such a nice city. I lived there in the 90s. It was lovely. It was just a carefree kind of place with all sorts of activities to do. Because when I lived in Minneapolis, I wasn't even 21, but it didn't matter. Because there was so much stuff for all ages that we would just go to the Mall of America and ride a damn roller coaster. So much stuff to do. The woman killed during an immigration and customs enforcement operation in Minneapolis on Wednesday has been identified by officials as Renee Nicole Good, age 37. Lawmakers are arguing over who's to blame for the deadly shooting. The pig is who. That's who you blame, the one that jumped in front of a moving car? Let me just go through a different scenario here. He jumped in front of a moving car. First of all, who does that? Maybe because I'm from Milwaukee, I know better than jump in front of a moving car because, reckless driving. He literally, he came from around another vehicle to put himself in front of a vehicle that was trying to drive away. She should have hit him. Because had she hit him, right, assuming the other officers didn't open fire on her, you know how much cell phone video there is? It's from every angle. You got somebody up in a window in one of the houses. You've got 2 or 3 dozen people on the ground, each of them with different angles and different vantage points. And some of y'all only saw like a limited vantage point where it looks like, oh, wow, maybe she did try to hit him. But then there's probably 7 or 8 different viewpoints where you can see him like run to get in front of the vehicle because he wanted to cause officer-created jeopardy. She very well could have killed him, but it would have been his fault. Like if you're driving down Capitol Drive and someone jumps in front of your vehicle while you're going 32 miles an hour, that's not your fault. That very well could have happened to that officer, and he would have been killed, and people would have been like, well, you shouldn't have jumped in front of a moving vehicle, dummy. In fact, I would have called it a suicide. Had she actually run that pig over and killed him, and yes, he's a pig, because only pigs do this. When people tell you that they have an issue with law enforcement and why they don't trust law enforcement, the fact that a cop would put his own life in jeopardy to create officer-created jeopardy as an excuse to murder a mother of 3, you're a pig. And if you agree with what that officer did and justified his shooting of a woman who was a mother of 3, you're a pig too. I just hope you don't apply to the academy. But had she actually run this guy over because he jumped in front of the vehicle, that's a suicide. Like, oh no, we have an ICE officer just decided this is too much for him. He didn't like to execute Donald Trump's heavy-handed immigration orders. No, he jumped in front of a moving vehicle and committed suicide. Not this chump. And you see how they ushered him away? Because they knew had he stayed, they was going to get his ass. At some point, mob rule would have taken over. And what do you expect? Like, this is the kind of stuff that makes revolution. And here's what I fear. Donald Trump is goading the American people into a civil war. More of this is going to happen because local authorities can't remove federal agents. Governors cannot remove federal agents from their cities. County sheriffs, state patrols, state troopers have no power, no authority to remove federal law enforcement from their cities, their states, and their towns. And eventually the American people are going to get fed up. Now, some are going to be more fed up than others. Some people are just going to blow whistles because apparently that's something that people are doing now. You see ICE agents, you blow your whistle very loud to alert people. Then there's some people that take to the streets. But they are trying to work the American people up in a frenzy so that martial law can be called. And I'm trying to urge calm as best I can, but this is exactly what they're trying to do. But both sides are going to have a breaking point. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
Where's that same devastation? Where's that same anger? Where's that same hurt for other American citizens who lost their lives to guns? When we talk about the loss of life here in America, if all lives matter, y'all got to start acting like all lives matter. I feel bad for any loss of life because it's not fair and it's not right for anybody to take somebody's life. That's not what we're put on this earth to do. I hate the fact that in this country that we live in, that violence is so rampant. Violence is the norm.
Download the new 101.7 The Truth app now. Milwaukee Black Talk. 101.7 The Truth.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Elevate your game day gear or any outfit with official merchandise from the Milwaukee Bucks Pro Shop. From authentic jerseys to exclusive apparel and accessories, the Bucks Pro Shop has everything you need to showcase your fandom wherever you go. Cheer the deer to victory with authentic Milwaukee Bucks items. Visit us at the Bucks Pro Shop at Fiserv Forum or Bayshore Mall, or shop online at shop.bucks.com.
Hey Journey team, it's me, Coach Erica. Happy New Year. Are you ready? Because the time is now to begin your journey to success. This is your season to level up. Keep striving, keep pushing, and keep doing. No more waiting. No more excuses. Your journey starts today. For more information or to connect with me, visit ericaodomjourney.com. That's ericaodomjourney.com.
Real talent is defined by what people can do, not where they learn to do it. So by stopping at the education section of a resume, you might throw away the perfect hire. You might miss someone who has valuable skills to offer to help your business thrive right now and in the future. Because the truth is this: Skills First Hiring helps you see talent others miss, like more than 70 million stars, skilled through alternative routes. When you let their story unfold, you gain a competitive advantage, because hiring managers who start with skills are 60% more likely to find a successful hire. See the real person, complete. See what others miss. Hire skills first. Learn why it's a competitive advantage at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I'm sorry if I come off underwhelmed or I'm
Donald Trump has gone on the defensive after being shown video footage of an ICE agent fatally shooting a woman in the head in Minneapolis amid the nationwide immigration crackdown. Renee Nicole Good, age 37, was shot dead in her car. Video footage shows Good sitting inside her SUV in the middle of an icy road as agents order her to get out. When she begins to move her vehicle, one agent fired multiple rounds into the vehicle, then walked away. So I thought that she was a part of like a protest, like she was blocking the vehicle. She was not. Those vehicles were parked. There were no other ICE agents in vehicles trying to move. They were stationed on that street. So I think somebody said, oh, she was blocking them. No, she wasn't. She was trying to get out the way. And then you see her back up. And she actually moved the vehicle to avoid an officer. And that's when the pig jumped in front of her vehicle. You know how sometimes y'all say, play stupid games, win stupid prizes? By jumping in front of a moving vehicle, that's a stupid game. Because I've never been hit by a car before. Let me take a quick poll of one person. Rhea, a question for you. It's a real simple question. Have you ever jumped in front of a moving vehicle?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Have you ever been hit by a car before?
No.
Okay. Thank you. That concludes the poll. Appreciate your participation. So I haven't been hit by a car either. But cars aren't made out of cotton candy. They're made out of stuff that will split your ass in half. So I'm assuming you don't want to get hit by a car because, you know, I only want one crack in my ass. I don't need an additional one that I would get by jumping in front of a vehicle. And he jumped in front of it. Officer created jeopardy. He did that so he could kill somebody. Do you want that kind of law enforcement? Those are the kinds of people. Let's say you don't like the immigrants for whatever reason. I've been thinking about this for a while because I know what some of the biggest issues are that people face every single day. It's the cost of, groceries and food, utilities, healthcare with the subsidies for the Affordable Care Act expiring, the quality of education, the cost of education, limited job opportunities, public transportation issues. I think that we need more of it. Like, those are some of the issues that I hear people talking about. And then, like, local crime, of course, that's an issue as well. Immigration doesn't fit anywhere in that. That was the agenda of this administration. That's their agenda. That's not mine. If I listed, like, the top 30 problems that people have some kind of a issue with here in the city of Milwaukee, it's not somebody from Honduras. If I think long and hard about it, here's when I get mad at immigrants, okay? I'm going to tell you how I get mad. This is not justification to want to disappear them. Sometimes they be speaking Spanish real fast, and I just don't know what they're saying. But that's a Sherwin problem. So if my only issue with an immigrant is, hey, slow down, sir, your Spanish vocabulary is outpacing my understanding, that's not a reason for me to want them to leave this country. Them folks don't bother nobody. Because if they did, y'all would call here and call this radio station to complain about it. Now, I don't listen to a lot of talk radio because what the hell would I do that for? But in the times that I do listen, I don't know if I've ever heard anybody at least call 1017 The Truth shows and say, you know what, boy, oh boy, I was walking down the street and one of those migrants just stole my lunchbox. Or dag nabbit, I was on my way to my job and I got there and it was a lady named Rhea who had just took my job. She had just got here from Guatemala. I haven't heard any of that from y'all. I mean, I could see even if, let's say, the reckless drivers in Milwaukee, what if they were all Mexican? Then I could say, okay, well, we have a problem with Mexicans driving recklessly here. They're not used to American roads, but it's not even them. They probably drive better than us because they're afraid that if they get pulled over for driving recklessly, they'll get detained. Juan and Paco ain't weaving in and out of traffic. I got to make sure I keep my hands on 10 and 2. I do not want to go to Yale for this. I'm sorry, sir, did you say Yale, the college? No, Yale, where they lock you up behind the bars. Oh, jail. That's what I said, Yale. They're not the problem. I suppose we could go deeper and analyze why those who favor this brand of republicanism don't want Spanish-speaking people or Latino ethnic people in this country. Because what happens when they become citizens? And what happens when they vote? And what happens when they have children? And their children go to our schools. And then our children, their children, our children, American children, because that's what they would be, begin to take jobs from white children. I gave you a statistic one day this week that said the majority of the people in this country, as of right now, that are under the age of 18, are less than 50% white. And if you're a white person that pride yourself on all of your revisionist history, that's scary to you because you always thought this country was going to be yours. Remember, Trump told you he was going to make America great again. That's a directional reference. That means backwards. I am black, and so are many like me. If we look backwards in history, things were worse for us. There is a political ethos that wants to take us back to a time where things were worse for us. Newsflash, that'll never happen. You cannot reverse time. But that's just as much a fairy tale as thinking that you can make America great again. Great again means less opportunity, that it was less competitive for white people. That's never going to happen again. And it's unfortunate for you, but I didn't make that change. Y'all stop having babies. What you want me to do about that? If you look at the children that are between the ages of 0 and 5, so under 18, it's like 48.7% white, meaning 51% and some change of the under 18s in this nation are children of color. They're Asian, they're Pacific Islander, they're multiracial, they're black, etc. Okay? When you look at children that are 0 to 5, that white percentage is who's going to be leading our cities and our towns. What does that mean for candidates who are going to be running for office? What does that mean? Does that mean that we're going to do right by these people? Does that mean that we're going to give them reparations? Oh, my God, what does it mean when the minorities do to the majority what the majority had done to the minorities? Now, just rest assured, when the people of color and the minorities get overwhelming majorities in political power, we don't care about y'all like that. You're going to get health care, too. Your student loans are going to get forgiven, too. Your potholes are going to get filled. Your snow is going to get removed. Your garbage is going to picked up. There will not be a black person or a brown person anywhere who's leading a city, who's mayor or alderman of a city says, only pick up the black people's garbage. I'm a black mayor. I only will take the trash and pave the roads on black streets. In fact, it's probably going to be the opposite. Because if you have a black mayor or black political leadership, white folks get insecure. So we're more likely to plow their snow and pick their garbage up first just so they shut up. Well, I'm going to go down to City Hall because this black mayor did not plow my snow. Shut up, Martha. We'll plow your snow first. Just stay in the house. All right, I'm watching you with all your black mayoral aspirations. I got my eye on you. Shut up, Gertrude. Unbelievable. Irrational fear. The president had been interviewing with the New York Times on Wednesday when he was alerted to the killing in Minneapolis. Quote, I want to see nobody get shot. I want to see nobody screaming and trying to run over policemen either, Trump said, adding that good, quote, behaved horribly. Demonstrators gathered in Minnesota on Thursday morning to protest against Good's killing, which the mayor attributed to the reckless actions of the ICE agents. At least one person was hauled off by police who fired pepper balls into the crowd, CNN footage shows. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. I'll be back for hour 2.
Come in with straight truth.
If you acted up, if you were out here doing any kind of foolishness or just something that people know would make your family's name look bad, your neighbor from down the street, if they see the son or daughter, be like, what are you doing? They gonna call you out. They gonna let you know that they saw you, and then they gonna tell you, come here. Now you know I'm gonna tell your daddy.
That part.
There are a lot of times when people are new to an area, they don't know where to plug in. And anybody who plugs in the 101.7 The Truth and listen to you and Dame and Truth Nation would know that there is a significant public outcry when violence happens in our community. Don't worry about the outcry if you're not listening to the right people. So I would encourage her to tune in to 101.7 The Truth and listen to you guys, Denise Thomas, Dr. Ken Harris, Tori Lowe, and definitely Sherwin Hughes every day.
Watch all your favorite 101.7 The Truth shows by subscribing to 101.7 The Truth on YouTube.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
Nathan has taught me to embrace the moment. Age-wise, I'm in my late 60s. I'm old enough to be his grandfather. Will he be embarrassed to acknowledge me as his dad? I think the most important thing we can do is let them know that they're safe, that they're valued and cared for and loved, and that they're important.
I knew I wanted to be adopted by him because of how he taught me to be the person who I am today. And it's coming from a dad that didn't expect to become a dad. And I feel very proud to be his son.
I was what he needed, and he was what I needed. Every day is full of new opportunities. That's what it's been about, realizing the simple things that it takes to make such a huge difference in these kids' lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care at adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Williams, and I want to share with you the role that diabetes has had in my family. I lost my grandmother at the early age of 64 due to complications with diabetes. She was warm, generous, and a constant encouragement for me to follow my heart. Did you know that African Americans experience chronic kidney disease at a rate that's 25% higher than white Americans? And we're almost 4 times more likely to develop kidney failure. Diabetes and high blood pressure are leading causes of kidney disease, which can result in kidney failure, needing dialysis, or a kidney transplant. The good news is that you have the power to check out how well your kidneys are doing and learn ways to prevent them from failing. So go to your doctor and get yourself checked out. Visit linkmylovetv.org to learn more. Get the facts, get checked, and get healthy.
We are the home of Milwaukee Black Talk. 101.7 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. It's The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Our telephone number, if you're so inclined, questions, comments, whatever. If you want to report an immigrant driving recklessly, 833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. Rodney says, but yet no body cam footage, which they all have on. Any other time that footage would have been out before the 5 o'clock news. Couple things with that, Rodney. Not all of these ICE agents have been issued body cams. That's number one. Number two, you're never going to see the footage. You think that Secretary Kristi Noem and the Department of Homeland Security, Immigration and Customs Enforcement is going to release body cam footage to the public? Are you kidding me? We'll never see it. Now, I don't know whom of the agents that were on scene yesterday in Minneapolis were wearing body camera footage, but all of that's going to be confiscated. It's going to be a part of an investigation. And who knows how long or how thorough or how serious this investigation is going to be. So there is a bit of a saving grace that there is a Minnesota Department of Investigation, so like basically their state investigative agency that will make their determination at some point in time to see if Minnesota state law was violated in the killing of Renee Nicole Good. And if so, state charges would be filed against that officer or officers because several of them used unnecessary force. This is where it gets murky, though. There's a federal investigation also going on, and the federal investigation will take precedent. And I don't know how the power splitting or sharing will take place, because if the officer is pardoned, not even acquitted, pardoned for his actions, or preemptively pardoned, which I didn't even know you can do until Joe Biden did it. Joe Biden gave a bunch of preemptive pardons for people that were investigating Donald Trump, Anthony Fauci, a whole bunch of other folks, just in case. I think Nancy Pelosi got a preemptive pardon as well, just in case Donald Trump wanted to come back later and file some kind of federal charges against them. Trump can also give a preemptive pardon to the officer that killed Renee Nicole Good. He could. But that would just exonerate that officer, that ICE agent, from federal time, from being charged and convicted of a federal crime. The state is different. Presidents, and people have got to know this part, presidents have zero authority to pardon somebody for a state charge. The woman killed during an Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE operation in Minneapolis on Wednesday has been identified by city officials as Renee Nicole Good, age 37. As lawmakers argue over who is to blame for the deadly shooting, Minneapolis City Council confirmed Good's identity in a joint statement, calling her, quote, a member of our community and demanding that ICE immediately leave the city so they can get rid of their chaos and violence that ended the life of one of our neighbors. This morning, an ICE agent shot and killed Renee Nicole Good, a member of our community, the statement read. Anyone who kills someone in our city deserves to be arrested, investigated, and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Reports from the Associated Press show she was a citizen and appeared to have never been charged with anything involving law enforcement beyond a traffic ticket. Her ex-husband told the outlet anonymously that Good had just dropped off their 6-year-old son at school and was driving home with her current partner when they encountered a group of ICE agents. Video of the incident appeared to show Good driving away during a raid before being shot by an ICE officer, and the Department of Homeland Security argues she tried to use her vehicle as a weapon while agents were trying to make arrests, prompting them to fire in self-defense. So and don't do this, by the way. I have to make sure I give a disclaimer because people are stupid. You can just jump in front of somebody's car and then shoot them through the windshield like, well, they were trying to run me over. That's what that ICE agent did. And I know real, actual, honest, decent law enforcement. You know the kind of law enforcement that we like? You know the ones that when we call them, the ones that we want to show up, like the good ones? You know when a good cop shows up on the scene, You know, they're all nice. Could be the worst situation ever. Could be who knows what. Could be an assault. Could be something terrible. And you call 911. Dude. Oh, there's been an incident. Please send an officer. And then, I don't know, 5 days later, the officer shows up. Hey, how are you? Somebody call 911? Hey, okay, can you? And they pull out their little notepad. They flip it open. You know how the cops do. I wish I had a notepad in here to show you. I don't have one. I don't have a notepad because it's 2026. Okay, so what's your name? Sherman? No, Sherwin. Sherman Hughes. Okay, Mr. Hughes, tell me what you saw. I saw a man and he had a gun and he was shooting and I'm sorry that you had to go through that, Mr. Sherman. Can I get your date of birth? 3675. 1951? No, 3675. That's what I said, 53852. Okay. All right then, Mr. Sherman. Well, thank you so much. If I need any information, this is a good number for you? Yes, officer. Okay, then try to have a better day. And then they go back into their squad car. You know, just a nice, pleasant sweetheart of a cop. Kind of goofy. You know, those real nice cops are kind of dorky a little bit. Got those weird laughs. Oh, I'll tell you what. Sherwin, did you see the Packer game? I bet they're going to beat the Bears. And they talk to you about sports. You know, those are the kind of cops that we like. The ones that when we were kids, they would give you a baseball card. Come on over here. They called you youngster. Remember when cops would call children youngsters? Now they call us thugs. Video of the incident appeared to show Good driving away during a raid before being shot by an ICE officer, and the Department of Homeland Security argued she tried to use her vehicle as a weapon while agents were trying to make arrests. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem called the shooting an act of domestic terrorism. It said ICE agents were carrying out lawful enforcement operations. Noem, she's a box of rocks. She's so stupid. But you gotta be to work for him. You have to be. Marco Rubio is too. I used to have some level of respect for dude, but now dude is just... And I can say that because I've worked for a number of elected officials and have given statements on behalf of a governor, of a mayor, and a member of Congress, and have attended events and spoke on behalf of those aforementioned individuals, and never one time, not ever, was I ever made to deceive or lie to the public or peddle information to the public that was untrue, because I wouldn't have done it. One thing that I learned in all of the years of the government service I have been involved in and all of the elected officials that I have worked for, you do not lie to the public. You maybe don't tell them everything, but you do not lie to the public. Noem encouraged elected officials to denounce the violence against law enforcement and said the shooting is the direct consequence of constant attacks and demonization of our officers by sanctuary politicians who fuel and encourage rampant assaults on law enforcement. So let me get this straight. When a pig jumps in front of a moving car, that's violence against law enforcement. No, that's violence against common sense. See, they think that we're stupid. And some of you are, because that's who they're talking to. They really want you to think that if a cop jumps in front of a moving car, that that's violence against police. It's really violence against that SUV. That SUV wasn't trying to hurt nobody. President Donald Trump said the incident stemmed from what he called radical left agitation. This was a woman who was coming home from dropping off her 6-year-old son at school. And then, according to Donald Trump, that's radical left agitation. Well, I guess wanting your child to get an education is probably something considered radical and leftist by the Trump administration. So I suppose I can agree with Trump on that, because having an education is radical and leftist. Because if you actually have an education, you won't be a conservative. Sorry, guys, that's the truth. No, really. It's the higher someone is on the scale of education, the less likely they are to be a Republican and a conservative. Don't blame me for that. Jesus did that. I didn't have anything to do with that. Jesus said, we shall make them liberal. Jesus was a liberal. He wore Birkenstocks and probably didn't wear any underwear. Somebody told me recently, I think it was on this show, that Jesus, he wasn't even born on Christmas. So whose birthday are we even celebrating? President Donald Trump said the incident stemmed from what he called radical left agitation. He also defended the ICE officers' actions of self-defense and urged greater protection for law enforcement in a Truth Social post. I think at this point, the greatest protection for law enforcement, especially federal agents who were not, no one asked them to be deployed to American cities. If we really wanted to protect them, we would send them back to the areas in which they were trained to patrol. Large expanses of rural areas near the American-Mexico border down there in Texas and Arizona, where they sit in their vehicles at the border crossings, and maybe they see somebody, maybe they don't. They probably just spend their time, because this is what ICE agents do, and that's the thing that makes it so incredibly dangerous. They are not trained in the ways of urban tactical policing. They sit in their trucks in the desert and just look for somebody. And sometimes it's hours on end, they don't see anybody. So you know what they do? Probably just masturbate. What else are they going to do? They're in the desert, and it's lonely and very sandy. They have their coffee, their donuts, probably either a water-based or petroleum-based lubricant. I'm not judging them. They're lonely. They're in the desert waiting for a Mexican to cross, and then they spring into action. They're mid-stroke and all. Oh, no, it's a Mexican. I better clean up and apprehend them. That's what they do. They're in the desert. And now you throw them in a city where you got people and yelling and screaming, and they're blowing whistles, and it's densely populated, and more people are coming out, and they got cell phone cameras pointed at them. That's a frightening situation for a man who's used to sitting in his truck at the Texas-Mexico border, who's just masturbating 8 hours a day. This is a shock for him. You know, he's not used to all of this. She studied creative writing at Old Dominion University in Virginia and won a prize in 2020 for one of her works, according to a post on the school's English department Facebook page. She also hosted a podcast with her second husband, who died in 2023. Good had a daughter and her son from her first marriage, who are now ages 15 and 12. Her 6-year-old son was from her second marriage. Her mother, Donna Ganger, told the Minnesota Star Tribune her daughter was not involved in protests against ICE agents and described her as one of the kindest people I've ever known. She was extremely passionate. She's taken care of people all her life. She was loving, forgiving, and affectionate. She was an amazing human being, Ganger added. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry sharply criticized ICE following the death of the woman, saying federal agents should get the... Can I say it? I can't say it, Andrew. What if you beep it out real quick? I still can't say it. He said it. The mayor said it. He said, and they played it unedited. They did play it a lot. I can't say it one time. What if I'm doing an impression of him? Because it's not technically me saying it. It would be him saying it through my body. Now I can say it. Are you going to beep it? I don't trust you. You might hang me out to dry. You might jump in front of my moving vehicle and say that I tried to run you over and shoot me in the face. Hey! Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry sharply criticized ICE following the death of the woman, saying federal agents should get the F. He said it like he meant. He said it with his whole chest. Get the F! Get the frick out of here! Quote, they're ripping families apart. They're sowing chaos in our streets. And in this case, quite literally killing people. That's what Fry said during a news conference. So they're already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz urged the public to, quote, not believe the propaganda machine after viewing the video. The state will ensure there's a full, fair, and expeditious investigation to ensure accountability and justice. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara said officers responding to the scene found the woman with a gunshot wound to the head and attempted life-saving measures, including CPR. According to preliminary information, O'Hara said the woman was sitting in her vehicle, blocking the roadway when a federal law enforcement officer approached on foot. When the vehicle began to drive away, at least 2 shots were fired and the vehicle crashed on the side of the road. The FBI and the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehensions are investigating the shooting. If the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehensions finds that there is wrongdoing and they have reason to charge that officer, and that officer is in fact convicted of murder, of homicide, because that's what it was, Donald Trump will not be able to pardon that officer. I'm going to take a break, come back, talk to Al from Sherman Park on the other side. Al, let me just warn you, my tolerance for how you think is extremely, extremely thin. So you better make sense or the phone call will probably be shorter than this commercial break. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
On Friday night, the Milwaukee Panthers return home to host conference foe, the North Kentucky Norse.
Draws a double, kick out to the wing. Aguilar, contested 3, and he buries it. The Panthers are down by 3. D'Lo re-attacking in the paint, fades, fires, drops it in. The Panthers have pulled within 6.
Scott Warris has the coverage Friday starting at 7:30 on 1017 The Truth and the Milwaukee Panthers Sports Network from Learfield. Tip-off happens at 8 o'clock.
Natural gas is a clean, reliable, and convenient source of energy delivered directly to you through underground pipelines. The pipeline system has an excellent safety record, but there are clues that can help you identify a potential hazard. If you smell the strong odor of rotten eggs, hear an unusual hissing sound, or see blowing dirt or debris, it could be a natural gas leak. Leave the area immediately and call We Energies at 800-261-5325.
We Energies. People you can trust. Energy you can depend on.
Did you forget the first day of school is this week and little Nancy still needs her name embroidered on her backpack? Or the company shirts are due now, not next week? Maybe the boss just declared Steve's retirement party is today and the shirts are mandatory? Whatever the rush, Big Frog Custom T-shirts and more in Mequon has got you covered. With fast turnarounds, no minimums, eco-friendly printing, and high-quality custom apparel, Big Frog brings your custom ideas to life fast. Stop by Big Frog in Mequon or visit bigfrog.com/Mequon. Big Frog Custom T-shirts and more, where your ideas leap to life.
Dad's gonna be far side, good.
What should I do with my dress?
Do little wiggles. The slate's coming in.
What does it feel like when you're down or having a bad day?
It feels sad, like you just don't want to do anything.
All my little emotions in my head is just running crazy. I don't know what to do.
As a teacher or coach, do you ever feel overwhelmed supporting kids' mental health?
I had never experienced players being so down that they can't even participate.
He's just in tears in the huddle. I didn't know what to do.
Teachers need tons of help.
Kids Mental Health Foundation offers educational materials to help guide conversations with our students.
It's so important that we are constantly educating ourselves.
It's the same as the CPR class to me. We're trying to save a life here.
The Kids Mental Health Foundation has free tools and information developed by experts because kids' mental health starts with all of us. Scan the QR code or check out kidsmentalhealthfoundation.org to get started.
Prizes, exclusive experiences, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting truthcontests.com. That's truthcontests.com.
Happy kids heal faster, and that's why Starlight is dedicated to improving the mental well-being of sick kids across the U.S. Learn how at starlight.org.
Proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
phone number is 833-212-1017. 833-212-1017. When we started 1017 The Truth, our first broadcast day was January 4th, 2021. It was fun. We didn't know what the hell to expect. We launched with Melanie Ricks and Joe Brown, MKE in the morning. And that was when our morning show used to be 3 hours. So that was 7 a.m. to 10. And then I was 10 to 1. Tori was 1 to 4, and Dr. Ken was 4 until 6. So since then, we, of course, had some personnel changes and personality changes and even show changes, where the hour that we took from the morning show created Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace, his 1 hour show. But it used to be 3 hour morning show, 3 hour Sherwin, 3 hour Tori, 2 hour Dr. Ken. And we were off to a great start. Except Dr. Ken wasn't here like the first 2 weeks. Somebody asked Dr. Ken where he was on January 6, 2021, because that question still has not been answered. I know he wasn't here. No, he wasn't. We all had to fill in for Dr. Ken the first couple weeks because he was on vacation. I don't know where he was. How you going to be on vacation for a job that just started? But whatever. So we were off to a great start. January 4th was our launch day. We kind of set up expectations for who we are, what we were going to do, what we plan to talk about, what the platform was. Then we came back on January 5th, and we were still basking in the glow of the newness. And then January 6th, so what, our second day? Third day. First day was fourth, second day, third day that we were broadcasting. January 6th, 2021, the coup, the invasion of the U.S. Capitol happened. From that point forward, I believe, just because of the times that we were in, because Trump was president still when we launched The Truth, we became political talk because you can't not be. Here we are 5 years later. We recently commemorated the 5-year anniversary of The Truth, and we commemorated it with a big, huge nothing. But then look at where we are. There's something about this first week of January when Trump is president where it's just tragedy after tragedy. Yesterday, Renee Good was murdered in front of her house. Let's talk to Al from Sherman Park. You're on 1017 The Truth.
Hey, Happy New Year and condolences on the passing of your dad.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I guess I have questions as to why there was a statement made by the wife, like I heard that she made her wife come down here. Did she ask her to intervene in what the police were doing? And why was she outside the car filming it? I guess that's the concern. And then when I looked at the video, the lady was backing up, and the officer then stepped in from the car. Then she moved forward, and there's a gunshot in the windshield, front windshield of the car.
How many angles have you seen?
I've seen 2 angles.
There's about 10. Look at other angles.
Okay.
So to answer your original question, I don't know why the wife was outside of the vehicle. Why the wife may have been filming makes sense, because if you have ICE agents blocking the street in which you live on, I would probably pull my cell phone camera out too, just because, for the hell of it. But if you see other angles, you'll see that originally the woman who was driving the vehicle, Miss Gooden, is trying to wave the officers past her because they're on foot. They didn't. So she is backing up to avoid an officer, and there's also a vehicle to her right. And she's backing up to not hit that vehicle, but then also to get out of the way of one of the approaching officers, because she's going to go around the vehicle. So when she pulls forward, that is when one of the officers grabs for the door handle. And I'm glad the door was locked, because he would have pulled that woman out of a moving car. So in her attempt to get away from the officers and not hit a stationary vehicle that was parked in the middle of the street, you only see this from a certain angle. If you're looking at the angle from the driver's side or the rear quarter of the vehicle, you don't see the cop run around another vehicle to get in front of her car as she's pulling forward. He did that on purpose. He went out of his way to get in front of her so he could shoot directly through the windshield and have justification to murder that woman, because he then could say, oh, well, she was trying to run me over. You see him running to get in front of a moving vehicle, which to me is suicide and stupid. But it's something that he did to justify being able to kill that woman. And then he shoots 2 more shots through the driver's side window from the side. But he jumped in front of that vehicle. But so I would encourage you to watch other angles. I mean, it's very gruesome because you're going to see an angle or two where her head explodes. I don't recommend watching that. But just to answer some of your questions, I think some of the questions you have would be answered in viewing other angles.
Okay, like I said, I saw her backing up, and then he moved in front of her car, and then she moved forward.
She had to back up to avoid hitting the officers. If you watch other angles and then you repeat back, if you listen back to what you're saying, you're like, oh, what I said didn't make any sense. If you watch other angles, it'll explain it to you.
Officers stop, get out the car. At what point do you stop and get out the car?
No, they weren't in the car. They were on foot. They were effectuating arrest. They were actually going and apprehending. There was nobody in a vehicle. The officers that you were talking about were all in the street. There was nobody in the vehicle. The only vehicle that you saw moving was the one that they used to usher the murderer away.
No, he said stop, get out the car. He was outside the car.
Oh, correct. He did say that.
He told her to stop. He said F. That's how I know he said.
But here's the other thing that needs to be noted. He had no authority to stop her and tell her to get out of the car. The only authority he would have had to do that is if he had evidence and probable cause that if she was harboring an illegal in her vehicle. And he knew that she was not. Because that would have been noted. There would have been, like, the warrant would have been provided to the public, like, oh, we know this woman was harboring and hiding illegals. That is why we told her to stop. An ICE agent cannot tell a person, a citizen, to stop and get out of the vehicle. They can't do it unless you are using that vehicle to harbor someone who is illegal, which she was not. Because if she was, we would have saw him. She wasn't hiding no Mexicans in that SUV. Didn't no Mexicans scurry out of the vehicle once it hit that parked car. So he didn't even have the authority to open her door nor to tell her to stop.
I guess, does Congress need to define the radius around which an officer's scene is defined when they're working? Maybe 100 feet?
No.
200 feet?
So what you saw, which is going to be difficult for you to understand because you got the Trump brain, what you witnessed was already defined by the Supreme Court. You cannot shoot a fleeing vehicle. You can't. Not to disable the vehicle, not to disable the person trying to flee. It is not only illegal in all 50 states, it is unconstitutional and it violates a federal law. So it is illegal in the highest regards. If you are shooting this woman because she is fleeing, that is illegal. That's the reason why the officer jumped in front of the vehicle, because then he could say, oh no, she's trying to run me over. You cannot shoot somebody that is fleeing. And in cases where that has happened, those officers have been prosecuted. Now, you just need to read up on the law a little bit. That's okay. It's called officer-created jeopardy. And it's a ploy that some pigs will use when they want to justify murdering somebody. They will put themselves literally in harm's way and say, oh, no, they're trying to run me over because I just jumped in front of a moving vehicle. The only thing I can do now to save my life is to murder this person. Had he not jumped in front of a moving vehicle, like, a normal human being, he wouldn't be charged for murder, and she'd still be alive. And if they really wanted her, though, Al, they had her name, they had her license plate, they had her vehicle description. If she wanted to flee from her own house, they could have apprehended her later, but they didn't. He jumped in front of the vehicle doing officer-created jeopardy so he could murder her. It doesn't get more clear-cut than that. And he was moving and that was moving and coming out of the vehicle. That's all BS. He killed a woman because he wanted to. Thank you for your call. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, it's time once again to celebrate excellence, passion, and the power of community at the second annual Truth Community Awards happening Friday, February 20th at Venue 3 inside the 3rd Street Market Hall in downtown Milwaukee. This awards show will be honoring the unsung heroes who show up, give back, and make a positive impact in our community every single day. We're rolling out the red carpet and showing love to those who truly deserve it. Tickets go on sale Monday, January 12th and are just $20 and include free food and exclusive Truth giveaways. Join the 1017 The Truth team for an unforgettable night of entertainment, inspiration, and community pride at the 2nd Annual Truth Community Awards on Friday, February 20th at Venue 3 in Milwaukee. The Truth Community Awards are sponsored by Gruber Law Offices, Steinhoffels, Milwaukee College Prep, Cousins Subs, Venue 3 at the 3rd Street Market Hall, and the Milwaukee Bucks.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
I'm Angela Bassett. As a first responder on screen, I know what it means to act fast in an emergency. In real life, the same urgency can save lives, especially when it comes to a food allergy. For 33 million Americans, one bite can turn an ordinary meal into a life-threatening reaction. And too often, they don't have the one thing that could save them: epinephrine. But emergencies don't wait. And when a severe reaction happens, being prepared makes all the difference. Now, there's a needle-free option, a new way to carry epinephrine that makes it easier than ever to be ready. No needles, no hesitation. Because when the unexpected happens, the best thing you can do is be ready. Know the risk, know the options. Be ready to act. Learn more at foodallergy.org/ready-to-act.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I like them cool and kinda cocky, not too much to make it move. And try to lock me, try to take away the juice. You cannot stop it, gotta understand the rules. I've been the type to wear the heart on my sleeve. Been the one to always choose the wrong play. Not the type to ever see me lonely. I keep my socks on during loving. In and out, baby, in and out,
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem is set to hold a press conference Thursday in New York alongside senior federal officials to outline President Trump's latest immigration enforcement operations. The briefing comes amid heightened scrutiny of ICE tactics following the fatal shooting of Renee Nicole Good in Minneapolis and growing protests in Minnesota. There's a white lady, too. It kind of changes it a little bit, because if it was a black person, oh, my God. Well, he was probably a criminal. He was on drugs. He had fentanyl in his system, you know. If he was black, and I hate having to do this, but I have to show the differences of understanding when somebody is black, because we are, just as being black people, there's something wrong with us already. They would have went through whoever this black person's background was. Oh, he didn't pay his child support. He punched somebody in the face when he was 17. Oh, there's a picture of him smoking marijuana when he was 9. They went through her background and saw that she was a wife and a mother, and she said she didn't play guitar very good, and that she went to college. That's the worst they found on her, because I assure you, if she had done anything bad, if she had been arrested, had a criminal record, if she was a known agitator or an anti-ICE protester, or lo and behold, God forbid, an Antifa. We need more Antifas, by the way. I wish I could sign up. Where is there like how you get an Antifa membership? This is like a website you go to, because I'm anti-fascist. Because I don't think the governments should kill their own citizens when governments are being tyrannical and are being led by a leader that is completely out of control and does whatever he wants and has the full power, force, and weight of the U.S. military behind him. I don't like that. So because I don't like that, that makes me an anti-fascist. I just want you to take a moment and just dig into the semantics for a second. When one of these idiot nut jobs, I don't think they should be American citizens, Donald Trump supporter says, oh, Antifa is bad. Anti-fascism is what ended World War II. Like, how did y'all switch that fast? This is terrifying when you think about it. Because, you know, we used to didn't like fascism because it was inconvenient, to say the least. Now, if you are against tyranny, now you're a radical, crazy leftist. Well, I guess I'll be that. Be all radical and crazy and leftist. Might as well join the Black Panther Party while I'm at it. I might as well just be a full-blown socialist. Still not going to vote for Francesca Hong, but, you know, she's a Democratic socialist running for governor in the state of Wisconsin. I have a feeling that her campaign is going to be a little bit more attractive now. Because when people see the output of right-wing politics, which is your health insurance being unaffordable, groceries being unaffordable, utilities being unaffordable, there will soon be an incredible spike in energy prices and gas prices, and just overall civil unrest. There will be more doubt sowed in our upcoming elections all throughout the year 2026, and all of this is a function and the output of right-wing Republican conservative politics. And a lot of people, even folks that don't pay attention, they don't really care about this stuff. They got responsibilities. They got a job. They got families they got to take care of. They got to just do all this other stuff. Even they are going to start to reject this. If for no other reason, they're now forced to pay attention when they really didn't have to. I can remember decades of my life where you could have a conversation with 10, 15, 20 people back in the analog world where things were much more tactile and you actually did stuff in the real world and talked to people and engaged with people. You could talk to 10, 15, 20 people and politics wouldn't come up once. Or it would be something like, hey, you heard about what Bill Clinton did? Chuckle, chuckle, chuckle. And that was it. Now it's every single day. Every news cycle is dominated by new ways in which our U.S. Constitution is violated and how Congress does nothing. I suppose I could put a lot of blame on the Democrats, but they are just as much victims of this as anybody else is. But there was a time in which you just didn't even have to care because all this stuff just kind of ran on its own. The only time you'd ever be concerned about the government is like, ooh, it's income tax check time. I wonder how much money I'm going to get back from my taxes. Other than that, you didn't care because it didn't really matter. Unless there was something major going on, there was something pressing going on. But we've been involved in wars for the last expansive amount of time in America where there was like peace was probably in the 1990s. I think we did some bombing over in Kosovo, but we always are bombing something. But if there's no foreign wars going on where there's heavy U.S. involvement, there's always something going on in the Middle East. There was a terrorist Northern Irish people were bombing each other because, you know, Catholics and Protestants. Talk about stupid terrorism. That's dumb. But then you'd always have some of that stuff. But because my formative years were in a time in this nation where politics wasn't this divisive. Somebody would tell you they voted for a Republican. They would tell you why. You would disagree. And then you would talk about how the Packers were playing. Like, you wouldn't hate the person. You know, you wouldn't block them on your friends group on Facebook. Like, none of that stuff even existed. We just didn't care. I think a lot of people attempted to carry over that nonchalant attitude about politics into the 21st century, but you can't. And I believe it only hurts Republicans. Now, you can list a whole bunch of terrible things that the Democrats have done. Shall I start? Because I'm very familiar with the Democrats, because I've been one for a long time. The Democrats want us to use more sunlight for energy, which is a punishable offense. How dare you? Or maybe the Democrats want to reduce our reliance on polluting oil, and especially foreign oil that funds terrorism. Clearly, the Democrats are out of their minds because we should be funding terrorism to the highest degree. Democrats realize there's a scam in student loans and student loan debt that never goes away, and the interest is charged forever. And they want to hey, have you been paying your student loans for 20 years? Maybe you're done. Maybe it's time. Maybe you're done paying now. Someone who borrowed $100,000 and then 25 years later owes $110,000. The Democrats is maybe you're good. That's an awful thing to do. They should lose every election because they want someone who has more than paid their student loans back to now stop paying their student loans. That's disgusting. And then there's the whole healthcare thing. Who in the hell do Democrats think they are to think that people should be able to go to the doctor when they're sick? Are you insane? When you get sick, you should die like everybody else that gets sick. What do you mean have your health insurance be affordable? What do you mean you had some kind of a childhood pre-existing condition, some congenital disease, and you had nothing to do with it and wasn't sure? What do you mean you have type 1 diabetes? Well, then you need a type 1 die. Affordable health insurance? That's ridiculous. For everybody. Why would you want to make going to the doctor when you're sick affordable? Forget being free. Now you're smoking crack, clearly. So the Democrats have actually done some really horrible things, including recognizing the rights of all people. Shouldn't we as Americans decide who gets rights or not? Right? Shouldn't we decide, you're too gay. You're a little too brown. You don't speak English good enough. You don't get any rights. Shouldn't we reserve the ability to be able to pick and choose who is and who is not American? Democrats want everybody to be a free American citizen and be able to vote in elections. How ridiculous is that? I'm starting to hate these Democrats for all the things that they're trying to do, especially that affordable health care and recognizing the humanity in all people. That's forgiving student loans after people have been paying student loans for 25 years, and sometimes they owe more money in student loans than they originally borrowed, and you want to forgive their student loans. Why would you want to forgive somebody's student loans? Why? Continue to let the government rip people off is exactly what the Republicans want. Duh. The American government is very expensive to run, and the most expensive part of our government is giving tax breaks and subsidies to people that make billions and billions and billions of dollars. Like a good Republican, you should make sure that billionaires have the most comfortable lifestyles possible. Please don't burden them with paying taxes for public schools, even though billionaires, when they need workers and they need people that are educated in the public schools, the billionaires shouldn't be paying for that. I mean, they should be able to use people that receive public education from a university or from a high school or a trade school or a tech school that we all are going to pay for, but billionaires shouldn't be troubled to have to pay for any of that stuff. In fact, billionaires might have products that they make that are shipped across American roads. Billionaires shouldn't be responsible for the maintenance of the roads in which their trucks are shipping their goods, and those goods that are sold to different places make them profit. They shouldn't be responsible for paying for the repairs on the streets. We should be paying for that. And what do you mean hang on a second, you mean the Democrats want billionaires and very wealthy people to pay an amount of money and invest in the people that they're ultimately going to exploit for their workforce? Wait, what? Leave those sweet billionaires alone. They didn't harm anybody except everyone. How could any of you guys vote for a Democrat? You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back shortly.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Where's that same devastation? Where's that same anger? Where's that same hurt for other American citizens who lost their lives to guns? When we talk about the loss of life here in America, if all lives matter, y'all got to start acting like all lives matter. I feel bad for any loss of life because it's not fair and it's not right for anybody to take somebody's life. That's not what we're put on this earth to do. I hate the fact that in this country that we live in, that violence is so rampant. Violence is the norm.
Download the new 1017 The Truth app now. Milwaukee Black Talk. 1017 The Truth.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends, if it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
If a tow truck appears on the scene minutes after your auto accident, think twice before handing them your keys. You may be the target of a common towing scam, which results in being billed several $1,000s. Don't allow any unsolicited tow operators to take your car from the scene. Consult with police or your insurance provider to contact a reputable company. Agree on the rate. And know where they are taking your vehicle. If you suspect insurance fraud, call 800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
Day 1, diagnosis day. The hardest day. The day you hear,
I'm sorry, this is a type of blood cancer.
But day 1 is just one day. At the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, we are here to help you move past day 1.
On day 45, I discovered an online community who shared great tips for in-treatment care.
I missed a lot of school during treatment, and LLS helped me keep up.
We are here for you. We exist for everyone fighting leukemia, lymphoma, myeloma, and other types of blood cancer.
On day 185, LLS helped me file my insurance claims properly.
Day 5,840 and counting, and I'm still in remission.
To learn more and get help on day 1, day 2, day 983, or any day, please visit LLS.org or call 1-800-955-4572. That's LLS.org, 1-800-955-4572.
Hi, I'm Priscilla Presley. My love for animals began when I was 5 years old. That sparked a lifelong commitment to speak up for animals who can't speak for themselves. Elvis and I supported American Humane Society because your compassion can change a life. American Humane Society strengthens the bond between humans and animals. Please visit AmericanHumane.org to learn more. Thank you.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
All this to not talk about Jeffrey Epstein and the files. Isn't that crazy? Speaking of which, well, at least the Democrats want to stop crime against children that were taken to an island where the current president of the United States, he sent Jeffrey Epstein a birthday card talking about their little secret. At least the Democrats aren't. At least Obama didn't go to Epstein Island. Could you imagine that? If Obama was on one of them flight logs, and I know they invited him. You know they did. I'm starting to think that the whole Epstein Island thing was just a big bribery, blackmail scheme. Like you entice and you encourage these really horrible, disgusting human beings to go down to that island so you have information in which you can blackmail and extort them for the rest of their lives. And Trump took the bait every single time. There's an island with many girls on it, an island. I like islands very much. They're surrounded by water. I love the water. I know they invited Obama. Obama's like, you must be a damn fool. Think I'm going to go down there. I got Michelle right here with me, all this big chocolate ass. Why I need to go down there with some young girls? What you mean? I'll be damned if I go down there with all this chocolate. That's right, Baraka. Look at all this chocolate ass. You don't know how they talk to each other. You have no idea how Michelle and Barack Obama talk to each other. They probably talk to each other even worse than that. Maybe. Linda says, Sherwin, by the time justice comes to that ICE officer, he'll be out of the country. He don't need to leave the country. If the federal investigation is the one that takes precedent, Trump will just pardon him. In fact, he'll still be employed by law enforcement. What do we got here? What else is going on in Minneapolis? That place is going to be a powder keg. Oh, here we go. Federal agents clashed with civilians at a Minneapolis high school. Federal agents tackled several people and used chemical irritants outside Roosevelt High School in South Minneapolis. Kara Morrow told WCCO she saw agents exit unmarked SUVs and tackle individuals on school grounds as students and teachers were leaving for the day. She said the agents did not identify themselves and were striking people after they were already on the ground. Morrow described the scene as, quote, awful and very sad. The confrontation occurred just hours after and a few miles from the fatal shooting of Renee Nicole Good by an ICE officer earlier in the morning. I'm thoroughly convinced that most Americans we're letting it happen. We're letting it happen. If agents are dispatched, here's the thing, you don't even know who these people are. I could put on a vest that says ICE on it and just start punching people in the face and people would just let me, no, because y'all would know it's me. If I put on a disguise, just put on an ICE vest. In response, Minneapolis Public Schools announced classes and all district-sponsored programs would be canceled for the remainder of the week, citing safety concerns. The district said students would not transition to online learning, which is reserved for weather closures. Later that evening, community members held a vigil for Good, a 37-year-old U.S. citizen identified as a legal observer during federal operations. Protesters rally outside the World Trade ahead of the Kristi Noem visit. Several dozen demonstrators gathered Thursday morning outside of One World Trade Center ahead of the arrival of the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. Newsweek's offices are located in the building, and this information comes to you courtesy of Newsweek.com. Oh, it's quite a few people out there based on this picture and video. Protesters carried signs saying, "From New York City to Minneapolis, stop ICE terror," and "ICE out of NYC now," and "Renee Good murdered by ICE," among others. The protesters walked in a circle on Vesey Street outside the building entrance. A combination of law enforcement officials was present, including the Port Authority Police Department and the U.S. Secret Service. The nation's largest nursing union condemns ICE shooting and warns of public health risks. The country's largest nursing union has condemned the fatal shooting of Renee Nicole Good during an ICE operation in Minneapolis, saying the incident underscores the dangers of federal agents in community spaces. In a statement, the union said its members, quote, "reject ICE presence at our healthcare facilities," and described armed federal agents as, quote, "the biggest threat to our collective safety." The group argued that increased militarization of neighborhoods places public health at risk. Let me give you a little inside baseball on that. When the nurses union comes out with a statement against ICE and rejecting ICE presence in and around healthcare facilities, because you know they're going into hospitals and detaining people, right? So when the nurses are warning you, this basically means this: hey, ICE, if your ass gets hurt and you need to be in a hospital, you don't want one of these nurses taking care of you. I am afraid of nurses. Let me revise that. I'm afraid of bad nurses. They know how to kill you in secret ways. So I'm just saying, don't make nurses angry. Eyewitness challenges Trump administration's account of Minneapolis ICE shooting. Emily Heller, who witnessed the fatal shooting of Renee Nicole Good in Minneapolis, has publicly disputed the Trump administration's description of the incident. Speaking to MS Now last night, Heller said the shooting was, quote, "totally preventable and absolutely unnecessary," rejecting claims that the ICE agent acted in self-defense. Quote, "I knew after witnessing it that it would be misconstrued into self-defense, which absolutely it is not." I saw that interview. She was really good. And you could tell she was just a regular old Minnesota lesbian, had her flannel on. She even said during the interview, you know, I'm not the most articulate person, and I don't want to be here. She said this during the interview. She said, I don't even want to be doing this, but I had to come forward, and I wanted to say something publicly because I knew that this is a woman who witnessed it. I think everybody on that block is a lesbian, but whatever, no judgment. I like lesbians. They're great to chase women with. What I've found, though, is that lesbians and I have very different tastes in women, which is good because I don't want to lose a woman to a lesbian because that would just be pride reducing. Sherwin, I bet I could take her from you. Please don't. Watch this. And then my lesbian friend they don't walk, they mosey. You know, lesbians kind of mosey. And I see her leaning over and whispering in the ear of
the pulse of the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a Bucks legend.
Can't get it off. Marcus Johnson will, though. Can't leave him alone for a 12.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson on Bucks Plus. Marcus and his son Chris offer a weekly beat on Bucks basketball. Get your questions answered and hear from the biggest names in basketball. Find Here District with Marcus Johnson at bucks.com/plus on the Bucks app or wherever you get your podcasts.
It's recognizing that there are people in the world that only have one word on their mind and heart when they become emotional when something happens to someone they like. They become irrational, they become fixated, and they do to others what they believe was done to them. The one thing everybody in America right now today, with the death of Charlie Kirk, the one thing they need to fear is retaliation.
Listen to The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris every weekday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 101.7 The Truth and The Truth app.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
There are many times I thought, I can't do this. I mean, what parent isn't worried about? What am I not doing right? What am I not doing enough? And then I realized, wait, that's being a parent.
Don't worry about being perfect. I've had around 3 other mother figures in my life, but only one of them has taught me how a mother loves.
The greatest reward for me is he makes me better every day.
I would tell a family considering adopting a teenager that teenager, whoever it is, needs you, and they need what you have to offer.
Taylor's giving me hope. He's our son, and that is what he will always be.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Williams, and I want to share with you the role that diabetes has had in my family. I lost my grandmother at the early age of 64 due to complications with diabetes. She was warm, generous, and a constant encouragement for me to follow my heart. Did you know that African Americans experience chronic kidney disease at a rate that's 25% higher than white Americans? And we're almost 4 times more likely to develop kidney failure. Diabetes and high blood pressure are leading causes of kidney disease, which can result in kidney failure, needing dialysis, or a kidney transplant. The good news is that you have the power to check out how well your kidneys are doing and learn ways to prevent them from failing. So go to your doctor and get yourself checked out. Visit linkmylovetv.org to learn more. Get the facts, get checked, and get healthy.
Truth Nation, stand up and tap in. This is 101.7 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. It's The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 3 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. This is news breaking all over the place. What's this next one here? Minnesota officials say they've been blocked from the ICE shooting investigation as tensions flare in Minneapolis. So not even allowing Minneapolis, where the crime occurred, to investigate the murder that happened in Minneapolis. So now the feds are blocking Minnesota from doing the investigation. You know what that means? This officer about to get let free. Scot-free. Good grief. You know what the problem is? As Americans who are deeply concerned about this and the fact that he has 3 more years in office. In fact, what's the date today? January 8th? He hasn't even been president for a year. I give him this. Your boy is off to a hot start. He is. But our options are really, really, really limited. The next time, other than, and I can't talk about that on the air because nobody should do it. I'm not saying anybody should do it. It would be terrible if somebody did it. Don't do it. Do not do it. First of all, I don't even know what you're thinking about doing, but whatever you're thinking about doing, don't do it. Because it would be awful if somebody did it. Because if somebody did it, it would be very, very bad. And we don't need more bad things, now do we? We're tired of all the bad things. Because if somebody did it, first thing I'd say is like, oh no, someone did it. Exactly. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Don't do it. For those of you that are thinking about doing it, will you please think about something else? Think about the Packers and the Bears. Don't do it. Because it would be awful if somebody did it. So the only recourse that the American people have is to do some voting, but that's not till November. And then there'll be a bunch of elections. We're all going to argue and complain about the elections, and the Democrats are going to say, oh, the Democratic candidates are too conservative. And then a bunch of other Democrats are going to say, no. The Democrats, they're too liberal and they're not doing enough, or they're doing too much of this, or they need to have free health care and they have to. And then somebody's going to say, I'm not voting for the Democrats because of Gaza. We're going to have all that stuff. And then once the elections are over, all the results are going to be disputed. And then in November, we'll be disputing the elections, of course. And then December, we're going to have another Jesus birthday. And then come January, the Democrats, assuming that they get the majority in the House of Representatives, I'm not sure if they're going to get the majority in the U.S. Senate, then they're going to get into office and they're just going to start impeaching Trump a lot. And Trump is going to be like, screw you, I'm going to do more war. And I'm going to do more pedophile. So screw you. And I'm going to unleash more ICE. And then the Democrats are going to say, you need to stop it. And then the Democrats are going to withhold the funding from ICE and the Department of Homeland Security. And then all of a sudden, you're going to see a whole bunch of people that are illegals that are going to be murdering people. There's going to be a whole bunch of that. There's going to be a lot of protests. There's going to be a lot of civil unrest. And then somebody is probably going to get shot. And then several other people are going to be arrested. And then the ICE agents are still going to be detaining people at Home Depot. And the Democrats are just going to be impeaching everything. So that's pretty cool. And then, and then when that happens, there's still 2 more years of the Trump presidency. So, no one do it. I mean it. Sometimes I joke around a lot. Like, ha, 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 he, jokey joke. I'm not joking now. Zach, do I look like I'm joking?
Nah, it's getting for real.
Tensions flared in the Minneapolis area as protesters and law enforcement clashed this morning after an ICE agent fatally shot a woman yesterday. Pepper balls were fired toward a crowd of demonstrators outside the federal building, with agents also deploying a gas-like substance. Here's what I will say. Minnesota's built for this. They showed us during George Floyd that they're like, oh, we've been ready. We're ready to deploy. So I trust how the good people in the state of Minnesota and the wonderful residents and citizens of Minneapolis are going to handle this. Don't you get your ass on the highway and go up there and try to be a part of a protest. I can't stand when people do that. That's why I had a beef with what was going on in Kenosha when Jacob Blake got shot. You had a bunch of people that ain't from Kenosha, don't know nothing at all about Kenosha, driving their stupid asses down to Kenosha and making everything worse. We'd even have situations here where people who ain't from Milwaukee, ain't never been to Milwaukee, ain't thought about Milwaukee, don't care about Milwaukee. They hear about a protest going on in Milwaukee. Now you want to bring your happy ass to Milwaukee. You want to come to Milwaukee, go to Cops and get a hamburger, go to the Deer District, go get you some drinks, and then take your ass back home. Don't involve yourself in our stuff. I'm not driving to Minneapolis because I'd have to stop and charge my car, and that would be very inconvenient. And while I'm charging my vehicle, I would probably have a change of heart. Zach said they're doing a protest at Cathedral Square. I don't feel like getting pepper sprayed, man. I'm doing my part. I'm providing information. And telling people not to do it. I'm trying to encourage people to remain optimistic and to remain hopeful. And the fact that, hey, here's the good news. There's still just over 3 years left of Trump's term. Damn, that sounds even... I swear to God, this dude has been president since 1984. It just seems like he has been president my entire life. And here's what's crazy. He's perfectly fine. I saw this side-by-side picture of, there was a person who, believe it or not, in the course of human history, had been shot in their ear before, and they showed what that person's ear looks like. Because here's what I just come to find out. Cartilage doesn't grow back. So the man whose picture they showed of his ear that got shot in the ear, there's literally a space, like a chunk missing where he was shot because cartilage doesn't grow back, and they're not able to like graft skin to make a new earpiece. This dude just had like a little chunk missing out of his ear. Then they showed Trump's ear right next to the guy who actually got shot in the ear, right? So you got on this side, on the right side, it was a guy who really got shot by a bullet in the ear, and he had a hole in his ear. You could tell that was scar tissue. Like, it was a legitimate photo. And then you had a picture of Trump's ear. Trump's ear is beautiful. It's healthy. It's just, there's no speck.
Well, yeah, because he didn't get shot.
Zach said he didn't get shot. But here's what I can't understand about that. I would like to engage in a conspiracy theory saying that Trump really didn't get shot. But the bullet that went in and out of Trump's ear actually killed a person. So how do we explain that? Someone hit somebody.
A bullet was fired.
Okay, a bullet was fired.
A bullet was nowhere near his head. That blood, they bladed him when they took him to the ground.
They did some WWE stuff.
I watched way too much wrestling to know when blading happens. That guy got bladed.
So you saying Trump had a little razor blade between his two fingers?
No, the security had it. Yeah.
Oh, really?
The security had it in the pocket.
Because Trump wasn't bleeding until he came up.
Exactly.
Oh, damn.
He quote unquote got shot.
Yeah.
Immediately covered his ear.
Yes.
Went to the ground.
Yep.
And people got on top of him.
Yeah.
And he came up, and now there's red stuff everywhere.
You know what else?
Nah, man.
You know what else?
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
If you get shot, in the moment we had to believe he got shot. Because we didn't.
But it was all just to gain sympathy for him to win the election. Because it was before the election even happened.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, this guy almost just died. We have to make him president.
It's like in June or July. And I think he came to Wisconsin shortly after that. So here's the crazy part. So Trump gets quote unquote shot. He goes down, comes up. If there is a potential assassin somewhere, because at this point you didn't know who the assassin was, how many there were, he stood up and like raised his fist in the air. Wouldn't you think that the Secret Service would keep him down if you don't know if there's more gunmen? They just let him do a victory fist pump. I know this much. That picture they showed of Donald Trump's ear, his ear, it's gorgeous. It's a beautiful, unblemished ear. They probably got it. Nah, never mind. I was going to say that they probably stole the ear from one of them kids off of Jeffrey Epstein Island, gave Trump a kid ear. Gave him a whole ear transplant. That's not nice. Tensions flared in the Minneapolis area as protesters and law enforcement clashed this morning after an ICE agent fatally shot a woman yesterday. Pepper balls were fired towards a crowd of demonstrators outside the federal building with agents deploying a gas-like substance. The Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension said it was forced to withdraw from investigating the shooting after the FBI took control of the case. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem had defended the agent, saying the woman, identified as 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good, tried to run over the officer. State and local officials disputed claims that the shooting was done in self-defense. Homeland Security officials have privately expressed shock over the department's immediate response. Multiple videos of the shooting reviewed by CNN show nuance in exactly what took place before the shooting. Remains unclear. Minnesota Attorney General says feds blocking the state from investigating the ICE shooting is, quote, deeply concerning. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison just reacted to the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehensions being forced to withdraw from investigating the fatal ICE-involved shooting in Minneapolis after the FBI took control of the case, telling CNN it is, quote, deeply concerning and extremely disappointing. Quote, my question is, what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of an independent investigation for? Ellison questioned. Before learning of the news, Ellison said he was still trying to reverse the federal government's course. I'm still trying to say, wait a minute, don't do this stupid thing. Do not go forward with an exclusive, which would an inherently untrustworthy investigation, which would be inherently an untrustworthy investigation. Do what is right, do what is wise, do what is best for the country, and have an inclusive joint investigation that includes cooperation by state and local authorities. Oh, I think you guys know why. Because if there was, in fact, an independent investigation, it would show that the officer did that thing that I talked about earlier called officer-created jeopardy, where the officer intentionally, on purpose, and negligently jumped in front of a moving vehicle so the officer could say that they were under threat by the moving vehicle that they jumped in front of, and then use that action of the officer to use deadly force. It also should be noted that guidance from the federal government, including all federal agencies, state clearly, and there have been Supreme Court cases affirming this fact, you cannot use deadly force to stop somebody from fleeing. You cannot. It's against the law's key legal and policy principles. I'll talk about those on the other side. I'm going to prove to you with the fact and the letter of the law, not that it matters, that you cannot do what that officer did. You cannot jump in front of a vehicle. Can't do that. Officer-created jeopardy is a real thing. It's illegal. It's negligent. It should get your badge taken away from you. And you cannot use deadly force to stop somebody who is trying to flee. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This is Sherwin Hughes from The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. And Truth Nation, you can now watch my show live on YouTube every day from 9 a.m. until noon. Yep, you can get 3 full hours of watching Sherwin doing his thing streaming live on YouTube Monday through Friday. You'll get the same insightful conversations about policy, politics, and lifestyle while also seeing my reaction to the unpredictability of our listeners. So go to YouTube right now, subscribe to 101.7 The Truth, and see this wonderful smile live every day.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. It's not just a slogan, but the way of life at Gruber Law Offices. If you've been injured, call our team today. We've represented tens of thousands of injured Wisconsinites for more than 30 years. Trust Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
Our children deserve a real chance to make it in life, and a good education is a passport to opportunity. At City Ford Collective, we're working to make sure there's a great Milwaukee school for every Milwaukee family, because more good options lead to better outcomes. And who doesn't want that? Together, we can give every child the foundation they need to thrive, and a stronger future for kids means a stronger future for Milwaukee. To learn more about our mission, visit us at cityfordcollective.org. That's cityfordcollective.org.
There's nothing like Milwaukee Bucks basketball at Fiserv Forum. The dunks, the defense, the roar of 17,000 fans. It's even better when you're with friends or family. From jaw-dropping plays to buzzer-beating threes, every game is packed with unforgettable moments that you'll get to share together. So gather your crew and get your single game tickets today at bucks.com/single. That's bucks.com/single.
Dad's gonna be far side, good.
What should I do with my dress?
Do little wiggles. The slate's coming in.
What does it feel like when you're down or having a bad day?
It feels sad, like you just don't want to do anything.
All my little emotions in my head is just running crazy. I don't know what to do.
As a teacher or coach, do you ever feel overwhelmed supporting kids' mental health?
I had never experienced players being so down that they can't even participate.
He's just in tears in the huddle. I didn't know what to do.
Teachers need tons of help.
Kids Mental Health Foundation offers educational materials to help guide conversations with our students.
It's so important that we are constantly educating ourselves.
It's the same as the CPR class to me. We're trying to save a life here.
The Kids Mental Health Foundation has free tools and information developed by experts because kids' mental health starts with all of us. Scan the QR code or check out kidsmentalhealthfoundation.org to get started.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, mark your calendars for Friday, February 20th for the second annual Truth Community Awards, hosted by Homer Blow and Bailey Coleman, celebrating individuals making a real difference in our community. Tickets go on sale soon. Aren't they on sale now? Maybe not. Tickets go on sale soon. Visit 1017thetruthAwards.com to learn more. 1017truthAwards.com to learn more. The Truth Community Awards are sponsored by Milwaukee College Prep, the Milwaukee Bucks, Gruber Law Offices, Steinhoffel's, Cousin Subs, and the 3rd Street Market Hall. Come celebrate with us on Friday, February 20th at the Truth Community Awards hosted by Homer Blow and Bailey Coleman from 5:30 to 8 p.m. at Venue 3 in the 3rd Street Market Hall. Hey, don't miss this best community awards event of the year. Don't you miss it. Because if you miss it, you'll miss it. You know what I mean? Like I was saying earlier, don't do it. Got a text message from someone named Brian, right? That's the person that sent it originally. I don't think it's the Brian that usually chimes in. Maybe it's a different Brian. Brian says, I'd like to think of myself as educated, not well-versed, but let's say well-informed about the socioeconomics of the world. My question for you and the black community as a whole, as it's not something I've ever experienced, but what do you do about the anger felt when people of not your community, of all communities, are being shot by a system that was designed to protect us, and then protect us is in quotation marks. This is complicated and there's a lot of nuance, and I don't know if non-black people have the actual capacity to understand the perspective of someone who was raised in, grew up in, has been hurt, harmed, and cautioned by this system. White folks do not have the capacity. If anything, they are taught and they are trained to either not see race or to not let race interfere with anything, because white people don't really have one in this country. So things that impact other people by race is simply not their problem. Most white people, wherever they live and whatever they do, now they can have issues and problems too. They can be poor. They can be unemployed and underemployed. They can have pre-existing conditions. They can have a whole bunch of other things. But amongst the problems that white people can have, because they're people just like everybody else, their race is not one of them. There has never been anything intentional or systematic to stop white people from voting or there's never been anything contrary to what they may believe stopping white people from getting jobs and getting opportunities and getting into college. So here's the thing with white folks, especially when they get into colleges. If they can't get in, that's because they were too dumb to get in. Just go to another college. But they try to manufacture the fact that, well, no, all these African Americans are getting into college. Yeah, because we're smarter than you. So of all the problems that they have, race is not one of them. So it is literally impossible for them to understand. But I do know this about white people, and I'm not gonna try and give some soliloquy on how we're supposed to feel about this. All I know is this: the lion that is America is gonna eat. It's gonna eat somebody. It's gonna eat poor people. It's gonna eat immigrants. It's going to eat anybody that we can consider an other. It is going to eat the black community with a crack epidemic. It's going to eat poor white folks in Appalachia with an opioid crisis and an opioid epidemic that turns into a heroin overdose epidemic. It is going to eat. It'll kill black people. It'll kill citizens. It'll kill non-citizens. It'll kill white people. It'll kill anything that gets in its way. It'll kill people in Venezuelan boats. It'll take a blind eye when it comes to children being slaughtered in Gaza. The lion that is American imperialism is gonna eat. It's gonna eat somebody, and at some point, if it gets hungry enough, it'll eat everybody. So, I mean, well, I don't know what y'all want me to, what kind of explanation you want from me. The very powerful people in this country, they don't care at all. They're fine. They're building bunkers. They ain't worried about you. They ain't worried about us. It's just one of them things. The news of an innocent life being lost at the hands of the government isn't nothing new, but this Minnesota stuff has made me so angry, and I don't know what to do. I'm assuming that is from the same person, Zach. That's the continuation. I don't know, but I don't know what you want us to do. We're trying to, like, borrow some of the anger of black people, because when we get angry about stuff like this happening to us in our community, y'all tell us to get over it, tell us to forget about slavery. Why don't we do this? Just forget about it. Well, you guys are still complaining about the lady that got shot in Minneapolis. That was so yesterday. Just get over it. Would you please? Stop bringing up old stuff. My God, you guys.
Somebody else already got shot.
Somebody else got shot?
No, I'm just saying, like, somebody else already got shot today. Like,
oh, right,
throughout
yeah.
the world.
Somebody else probably did get shot. So just, what do you want me to do?
Gotta go on to the next victim.
Yeah, it's fine. Just forget about it, and it won't happen again. You just forget about it. And
thoughts and prayers.
Oh, yeah, just pray. If you pray very much a lot, then your prayers will be answered. If you pray a bunch. All right. Number 1, deadly force may only be used when there is imminent threat of death or serious bodily harm. So this is coming from Department of Homeland Security and ICE use of force standards and the Code of Federal Regulations. Now, this is what I'm taking this from. Federal policy, including Department of Homeland Security, Immigration and Custom Enforcement use of force standards and the Code of Federal Regulations, says deadly force, quote, any force likely to cause death or serious injury is authorized only when an officer reasonably believes there is an imminent risk of death or serious physical harm to themselves or others. This is consistent with the Fourth Amendment, quote, objectively reasonable standard that applies to federal and local police alike. 2, I'm going to read this one 2 times. You cannot use deadly force just to stop a fleeing suspect. Can I say it again? Because there's always people in the back. Hey, people in the back. Hey, you, Johnny, put that pencil down and listen. You cannot use deadly force just to stop a fleeing suspect. Immigration and Custom Enforcement and Department of Homeland Security policies explicitly state that deadly force cannot be used solely to prevent escape. There must be probable cause that the fleeing person poses a significant threat of death or serious injury to officers or others. This principle tracks U.S. Supreme Court precedent in Tennessee versus Garner, 1985. The court ruled that police may not use deadly force against a fleeing suspect unless they have probable cause to believe the suspect poses a serious danger of death or bodily harm. Number 3, shooting at a moving vehicle is generally prohibited unless an imminent threat exists. ICE guidance mirrors Department of Justice and FBI policy, and it is as states. Firearms shall not be discharged solely to disable a moving vehicle, a moving vessel, a moving aircraft, or any other conveyance. Should I read it again? Johnny, I see you in the back. Damn it, Johnny. Zach, go get Johnny. He's not paying attention. Firearms shall not be discharged solely to disable a moving vehicle.
Hey, yo, Johnny!
Johnny, Zach is calling you. Get Johnny out of here. Give him a detention. Johnny is also 64 years old. Get his ass out of here. I've had enough.
I don't want to be in this lame class anyway.
Get out of here, Johnny! Firearms shall not be discharged solely to disable a moving vehicle, vessel, aircraft, or other conveyance. The only circumstance where deadly force, including shooting at a vehicle, is allowed is when the occupants pose a direct imminent threat of death or serious physical injury, either by means other than the vehicle itself or because the vehicle is being used in a way that threatens an imminent risk and no reasonable alternative exists. There is no feasible way to safely move out of the vehicle's path. Remember, the pig jumped in front of them. He jumped in front of. In everyday language, a fleeing vehicle cannot be shot at simply because it's running away. It must be doing something dangerous, like trying to run someone over. Number 4, officers must use the least amount of force reasonably necessary. ICE and DHS policy stress that agents must use non-deadly force and de-escalation and escalate only if justified by the totality of circumstances. Deadly force is a last resort, when lesser force won't neutralize an imminent lethal threat. When deadly force may be justified, the suspect in the vehicle is actively using it as a weapon, driving directly at an ICE agent or another person, and appears about to cause harm or death. No safer alternative exists, then the officer can use deadly force. The agent cannot reasonably avoid the threat by moving out of the vehicle's path. When deadly force is not justified, the suspect is simply fleeing and not posing an imminent danger. When deadly force is not justified, firearms are used to disable the vehicle to stop the escape alone. Even though ICE is a federal law enforcement agency, its officers are held to the same constitutional standard as local police when it comes to use of force under the Fourth Amendment, meaning deadly force must be objectively reasonable and justified by imminent danger, not by mere flight. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com. He's the voice for the people and the community's connection to change.
It is what it is. It's taxpayers' dollars. It's like monopoly money. It's like, you know what? We can just pay our bills with this money. You know what? The homeless, they already out there. They already in the tent. I walked past the other day. They were out there having fun and singing and stuff like that. I mean, this is what I'm saying. This is the attitude. Like, you know what? We're going to just take this money, right? We'll think about this in 2 months. We'll reconvene after we pay off our bills, and see what we got left.
Yeah, Christmas coming up.
Yeah, we got Christmas coming up. Yeah, basically, yeah. And it's just like this nonchalant attitude with the taxpayers' dollars. You know what? Look at MPS. Look how much money we threw at MPS right here in the city of Milwaukee. We throwing money at these places. Like, it ain't like they don't have the funding.
The Tory Lowe Show, weekdays from 1 to 4 p.m. Live on YouTube and right here on 101.7 The Truth.
Real talent is defined by what people can do, not where they learn to do it. So by stopping at the education section of a resume, you might throw away the perfect hire. You might miss someone who has valuable skills to offer to help your business thrive right now and in the future. Because the truth is this: Skills First Hiring helps you see talent others miss, like more than 70 million stars, skilled through alternative routes. When you let their story unfold, you gain a competitive advantage, because hiring managers who start with skills are 60% more likely to find a successful hire. See the real person, complete. See what others miss. Hire skills first. Learn why it's a competitive advantage at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
Metastatic breast cancer, or stage 4 breast cancer, happens when cancer spreads beyond the breast to other parts of the body. About 168,000 women are living with it today, with Black women at a higher risk due to various factors. Research has led to treatments that help manage the disease and improve quality of life. The Everyday Counts study explores how nutrition and exercise coaching can support women with metastatic breast cancer. To learn more about the Everyday Counts study in Milwaukee, call 414-955-8819 or email edc@mcw.edu. If you or someone you know has stage 4 breast cancer, please encourage them to call and enroll in this valuable study. Again, call 414-955-8819 or email edc@mcw.edu.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The award-winning 1017 The Truth is the proud home of Milwaukee Panthers basketball. Panthers basketball is back in action tomorrow night as they come home to take on the Northern Kentucky Norse at the UWM Panther Arena. Scott Warris has the coverage starting at 6:30 p.m. on 1017 The Truth and the Milwaukee Panthers Sports Network from Learfield. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. Well, little fascism never hurt anybody except democracy, so that's pretty cool. Trump hasn't even been president in a year yet, so I wonder what else he has up his sleeve. God, let me just take a rest from that for a second. Zach wants me to talk about relationships. It's probably even worse. I'd almost rather talk about Trump. You know what I found is that white people desperately want our rhythm, but not our blues. They want our experience because it's deep and it's meaningful, it's powerful, it's magical, and it's soulful, and they have none of the above. And so what they often try to do is they try to capture it, and they try to manipulate it, and they try and corral it, and they try to monetize it. You can take like a black athlete, right, who is of incredible natural and coachable talent, just like incredible athletic ability, right? And they want to harness it. It's like, oh man, I wish I could coach that black kid. And they do, because they find something so very satisfying when they can harness a power that they simply do not have. And they want to capitalize off of our experience. But then when the black athlete decides that they want to speak out against injustice, then it's shut up and run the ball, shut up and dribble. But you'll coach a black athlete and harness the power that way, but when they show who they are, their spirit and their soul and their deep connection to their community, then you want to shut them up. I have been, I guess, somewhat vocal on Civic Media's purchase of the original heritage black radio station, WNOV. And I got a deep level of affection for WNOV because that is where a lot of you came to get to know me. It's where I really cut my teeth in this brand of delivering information to our community and our community specifically, because our media needs are different, you see. Now, I'd worked for other radio stations, but when I got to WNOV and had my own show over there for 6 years, it was different. When I left WNOV, I went to the original 101.7, Resistance Radio, owned by Dominique Salvia and a guy named Mike Crute. And they were a Madison-based broadcast outfit, super far left, ultra progressive, like they were Bernie Sanders guys. But then they saw an opportunity to have a broadcast in Milwaukee to essentially extend Democratic broadcast radio to the city of Milwaukee, which is the biggest Democratic population-wise voting city in Wisconsin, you see. And so they bought 101.7. This is before this 101.7. They purchased it, and then what they did, because they had a whole bunch of white folks and a whole bunch of left-leaning, ultra-liberal programming, which, let me be clear, doesn't sell. Nobody wants to hear a liberal belly aching about every damn thing, about their damn health insurance not being free and about the damn environment. It doesn't sell, okay? And usually people that subscribe to liberal politics get their news from 1,000,001 different sources, like, you know, books, newspapers, you know what I mean? So we don't sit in the car and listen to radio, but for some reason they thought they had some kind of formula. But here's what they did. I'm just going to further my point. That white people just want our experience. It's why white girls go down to Jamaica and get their damn hair braided. It's why white girls get collagen injected in their asses, their hips, and their lips. They want our experience because our experience is beautiful. When I was in 5th grade, the first Air Jordans came out. And wasn't nobody white wearing Jordans. Before Air Jordans, there were Sky Jordans. They were blue and white. White folks wasn't wearing Jordan shoes. That was a black basketball player back in 1984, 1985. You know what white boys was wearing? Because I grew up with them. Reeboks. It wasn't until the black kids from the ghetto got bussed out to Brown Deer through the Chapter 220 program that we even saw anybody wearing Air Jordans. And guess what? Let me tell you a little something about how much they want our experience. When the hood got something, that's what makes it hot. And see, we don't even recognize that as black folks because we're so busy trying to divorce ourselves from the hood, get away from the hood, get out of the hood. The white folks love the hood. They love it. It's freeing for them. It's why white folks did minstrel shows. Because they can't be themselves when they are themselves, so they have to mimic us because they know that they cannot be free. With the system of white supremacy that they made, that keeps them in a cage. They got to be white and uphold whiteness all the time, and it drives them crazy. So they want our experiences. Let me get back on track. So when the white boys brought 101.7 to Milwaukee from Madison, they hired me, and they hired a guy named Earl Ingram, because they wanted the black experience on their airwaves. They assumed, well, if we get a couple of prominent black hosts, then we're going to have the whole black experience and all of the black people and the black voters and the black community and all those black Negro businesses all advertising on our 101.7 radio station because we got 2 black hosts. They don't know anything about us. They don't know any details about our community. They don't know how we work. They don't know the intricate details and the history of the black community. They just wanted to capture our experience. And here's what happens, because I've seen it happen 1,000,001 times, and it's going to happen with civic media too. When white people seek to capture the black experience for their own enjoyment or their own manipulation or their own monetization, They take the soul out of it because they simply cannot leave black people to their own devices. They want our experience, but then they tell us, you have to do it our way. But we're trying to tell them, your way don't work. Our experience that you want to capture exists by not doing it the way you do it. And then ultimately it fails because when white people, for external reasons of greed and supremacy, want to capture the black experience, it always fails. But then guess what the white people get to do? Blame the black people. Let's talk to Al. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
I'm doing good. I hope everybody is doing well. I'm surprised you really ain't getting no smoke today because, you know, these Republicans, they so white. And when it comes to a white woman, they have nothing to say. And I think that is some fake cooter cat, bull sugar, honey, iced tea, which means you're willing to be a snake-ass bastard with your own when one of your own is slaughtered like a bullseye target. So I just find that to be so fake and phony. And I know every time when everything go from sugar to sugar, honey, iced tea, they get real quiet like a bunch of dandelions and pussy willows with 17 diseases. Also, you brought up a lesbian earlier. The first thing I wanted to share with you, Mr. Hughes, lesbians is the closest you can get to a Christian version. Because back in the 30s, the Christian versions, back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, the Christian girls was raised to use the loophole so they won't have to burn in hell. So I was going to ask you so kindly if you and the listeners can go to your browser and look up F me in the ass, I love Jesus. And you will see what I'm talking about. This is by white people, and this is what they raise their daughters to do, so they won't feel like they're going to hell, because a lot of them had boyfriends and they always wanted their daughters to confirm their virginity. But the loophole was the mouth or the ass. But if you can look that up in your browser.
No, Al, people are at work.
Well, or they can do it on their cell phone, and you will see the little scripture on how the young girls was raised. That's why a lot of these girls right now, you talk about them coming to the hood. Just imagine what they're doing up at the truck stops. They still confirming their virginity, but they're using the mouth and the ass because you're not considered to be a little nickel whore. Because you're not using the vagina, you're using the mouth and the ass. But yeah, look that up. F me in the ass, I love Jesus. It's by white people. You'll see what I'm talking about. Have a great day, everybody, and thanks a lot, Republicans. This is all on you. And when that war jump out, I hope you be on the front line when they get ready and blow your goddamn head off. Because this is not Mexicans and black people issues. This is the issues that y'all caused by being racist and bastards. Have a great day, by the way.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, then. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Yep, that's okay, that's the website that Zach is holding up on his cellular Okay, Zach, that's enough of that. Everybody don't go to that website. Al was very descriptive in his explanation.
It's just a song on YouTube.
It's a song on YouTube?
I'm showing you a music video.
Can we play it? Is it?
I mean, I can see if I can find a clean version, but...
What's the song called? Is the song called The Website?
It's called The Loophole.
I think we need to hear
by
it.
Garfunkel and Oates. But don't start typing. Let me do this, because you can't preview anything.
All right, let's take a break. This is all for the name of science. Okay? We're going to do this for science on The Truth with Sherwin Hughes exclusively on 101.7. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com. Need a way to hype up your day?
This is Lorenzo.
Lorenzo, you just won $5,000!
What would would you do with $5,000?
That's sweet for a couple months.
Yes!
There you go.
Yes.
That just made me happy.
Stay tuned into 1017 The Truth for your chance to be entered into the Gruber Law Office's 5K giveaway. For contest rules, visit 1017thetruth.com.
Can we hold something?
Y'all holler back at y'all.
New year, new savings for property owners. Odom Investments and Property Management is kicking off the new year with a special offer you don't want to miss. Half off your first month property management fees. Whether you own one property or a full portfolio, let our experienced team take the stress out of managing your investment. Start the year strong and save money today. Call 855-ODOM-WAY or visit odomhomes.com. That's odomhomes.com.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hey there, Jane Lynch here. You want to hear something funny? Too bad. You want to hear something uplifting that will inspire you? Good. Because today, I want to talk to you about Direct Relief, a humanitarian organization that does seriously good work when it counts. Fires, hurricanes, earthquakes. When disaster strikes, Direct Relief immediately shows up with medicines, medical supplies, and everything doctors and nurses need to save lives. Let's ship her out! Every day across the United States and around the world, they're making an enormous difference. If someone needs help, Direct Relief helps. No politics, no red tape. Hey, what you doing over there?
Oh, I'm packing insulin for kids with diabetes.
See, every box here is literally a lifeline for someone in critical need. So check them out at directrelief.org and donate if you can. You might just bring a smile to someone's face.
Gruber Law Offices, serving the people of Wisconsin for over 30 years. Call us today if you've been injured. Gruber Law Offices, a proud partner of the Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
All my life, I've been good, do what my mom and dad and God say I should. Church and Bible school to live by God's rule. So whatever people tell me that the Bible tells me, I will do.
And that's all you can play of it because then it gets.
I can play more, but you
don't.
People just need to watch it.
And that video is called
"The Loophole" by Garfunkel and Oates.
Okay.
From 12 years ago, has 18 million views.
Oh my, so it's popular. Okay. All right, you guys go ahead and look at that at your leisure. Something else I've noticed is that we don't even have to code switch for them because they'll code switch for us. The first time I went to a Wu-Tang show, it was like in, oh my gosh. When did that double album come out? Probably 97. I saw Wu-Tang at, I think it was the last time they were all together. It was probably 99 or 2000. Because I've been a Wu-Tang fan since Enter the 36 Chambers. That came out the year I graduated from high school. And I was so excited. It was me and my cousin Devin and went to a Wu-Tang show. And as I'm walking up to the venue, to the rave, I'm like, damn, it's a lot of white kids out here. But they won't be on the inside. They're just out here milling about on the outside. The whole show was white kids. And they knew damn near every single lyric to every song that the Wu-Tang Clan performed. You ever see like a bit of news reporter or something, and they go into the central city and interview somebody who's doing like urban art or, you know, some kind of black creative, and it'll be a white run-of-the-mill, "Hi, I'm John Smith with TMJ4," like one of those kind. "Hi, I'm here at the Urban Street Collective talking to John Boy about some of the creative endeavors they have going on here." You know exactly what I'm talking about. They do these feel-good stories. But if you notice something, they'll be talking to John Boy. Like, "Yeah, we over here, we doing the street art. You know, we got break dance going on, and we got education classes for the kids. We got a whole bunch of stuff going on." And you'll notice that white reporter, by the end of the interview, that white reporter like, "Yeah, I'm over here at the Urban Collective." Like, they even change their tone and their tenor when they're around us long enough. You ever notice that? They will code switch to us. We ain't got to code switch to them. They want to be us so bad. And they want to try and encapsulate us. And they want to try and harness what we have so bad, but they ruin it so miserably because there's something they simply cannot see. And where most good, smart, intelligent, conscientious black creatives exist is in the gray area that white supremacy is blind to, because they'll never see how we operate. They'll never understand how we do it because they are literally culturally blind to it. They will appropriate to us. They go tanning. I need you to think about this. They're allergic to the sun, but will give themselves cancer to look like us. Ain't that wild? You know, back when I was growing up, when the world was dramatically less politically correct, if you had big lips, oh, you were nigger lips all day long. And don't be a white person with full lips. They got it worse than black people did. And the ironies that I see just being on Earth the 50 years that I've been here, I'm looking at the daughters and the granddaughters of the people that call me and other full-lip people nigger lips. I'm watching their daughters and their granddaughters get lip injections. They appropriate themselves to us. Where do you think sneaker culture came from? Us. You guys know what like athleisure is? Like wearing like tracksuits, sweatsuits. Athletic wear becomes leisure wear.
You mean the thing that the Venezuela president got arrested in? The Nike tracksuit?
He got arrested in a Nike tracksuit?
Nike Tech Fleece, yeah.
That's crazy. I saw a video, but I thought it was AI. But I'm not shocked by that. But we started athleisure. That's black culture. Let me make it a little bit more relatable. White women wearing damn leggings and yoga pants, that's athleisure. That came from us. Some of y'all need to stop with the yoga pants. You ain't never been not nowhere near no yoga studio.
They don't gotta stop.
That came from us. We don't even have to appropriate. They're doing it all for everybody else. Nor do we have to code switch to them. They will code switch to us. What I fear, though, is that as they continue on their never-ending and failed quest to try and encapsulate who and what we are so they can just feel what it's like to have that kind of soul, I think what it does is it erodes us. Snapbacks and fitted caps, that's us. You know that denim, like blue jeans, were created for slaves because they were tough, they didn't really rip, and they didn't show dirt. The fact that people around the globe wear blue jeans, and what's denim made out of? I'll let you guess. Cotton! Cotton was arguably the world's biggest cash crop. And because it was such a big cash crop, labor was very important, and cotton labor was incredibly expensive. That's why slavery became the economic powerhouse that it was, and the fact that a dye called indigo was used to color the denim, very tough cotton fabric blue. Blue jeans were slave culture. And now look, I got on jeans right now. Distressed and ripped jeans. I see people now with the jeans be so ripped the whole ass be hanging out. White girls too be wearing their distressed and ripped jeans. Guess where that came from? That came from us. So just know that it has always been us that they have both feared, loved, and admired. And because they created this system that they cannot get themselves out of and they cannot break free from it. They can't be individuals. They got to be white folks first. They're always going to victimize us. But as long as we know that we are the original curators of this, we should know that that is where our power comes from. I am not here tomorrow as we will be saying goodbye to my father, but I will be back with you on Monday. Until that time, be careful, stay safe, and I will see you very soon.
Milwaukee business owners, this is your moment. Every Friday at 8 a.m., call in to 101.